Rob Jones. Today we have our own 19th ranked Iowa Central Tritons going up against number 6 Hutchinson Blue Dragons. We got a great matchup coming up for us, Rob.
Oh, we do. You talk about a power type of traditional powerhouse in JUCO football, and that's Hutchinson out of Kansas and that Jayhawk conference, coming in at number 6 in the country, and a team that if you are a Division I college football fan, you know the name Hutchinson because they put guys at that level, and they also get guys from that level. Probably the most talented football team that the Tritons have played all year, and that's saying something given the quality of schedule here for Iowa Central.
And you mentioned the amount of talent that they have, and they get guys from Division I schools. And a great example of that is Saints running back Alvin Kamara.
Yes.
Played for Alabama, was a backup, transferred down here to Hutchinson for 1 year, went to Tennessee for 1 year, and now he's in the NFL as a star running back for the Saints.
And he wouldn't be the only one. There's
plenty more
around the pro game that have spent some time at Hutchinson. So, and we see them, Austin, as they're kind of close to our broadcast position. You see them coming over on the sideline, and they look physically like a Division I college football team. Triton's going to have their work cut out for them, but an opportunity today to get a big win and close out the regular season with some great momentum, beating Hutchinson here. And I think one of the big keys of the game today is going to be making big plays on the offense. With Hutchinson, they're going to be a good athletic defense. They're going to fly the football. So you need to make big plays because I think it's going to be difficult to sustain long drives today.
And this is a very important game for Iowa Central. This is the last game of the regular season here at Dodger Stadium. Luckily, it is home. And after this, they're going to take a month off, and they're going to be off to the Graphic Edge Bowl. How big is this game leading into the Graphic Edge Bowl?
I think it's big because I think it gives you that momentum. If you lose this game, you're sitting around thinking about the loss for 3 weeks before you go into the Graphic Edge Bowl. Now, the beautiful thing is no matter what you do here today, you've got that guaranteed spot in the Graphic Edge Bowl by winning the ICCAC Conference Championship this year, which is a first for Iowa Central winning that conference championship and is a great accomplishment for Coach Montalto and the guys. But I think you want to win today and give yourself some momentum going into preparation for the bowl.
Yeah, and I think the pressure is going to be a little bit off the Iowa Central Tritons right now because they don't have that pressure to absolutely win this game. They can go out and play their best and try to be at their best, going into the Graphic Edge Bowl.
And you make a good point there because all the pressure, the team with everything to lose today is Hutchinson.
Yes.
It's not Iowa Central. Iowa Central got their bowl spot locked up. No matter what they do, they're going to be in the Graphic Edge Bowl in Cedar Falls on December the 8th. Hutchinson is in the top 6. Now, they're trying to get a win here and position themselves to get one of the premier bowl games for the JUCO level today and hopefully get some kind of help ahead of them. They want to get some help ahead of them by some teams ahead of them getting beat so that they can maybe sneak into the national championship game if they're able to win today. So all the pressure squarely on the Blue Dragons.
And this is going to be a huge game. They're getting ready for the kickoff right now. And I think we're going to see a lot of Jadon Washington. He's kind of a newcomer. Kind of broke out last game against Fort Scott in their win 53-31 last weekend. He had a total of 145 yards on a total of 26 carries.
Jadon Washington had a huge game, kind of his breakout performance. I talked to Coach Montalto early in the year, and we were talking about the running back unit. And the one thing he said when he was talking about Jadon Washington was that he thought he had a chance to be special. Well, we saw a good glimpse of that last week against Fort Scott. Let's see if he can build on that today.
Iowa Central's lining up for the kickoff here to get this game started. Very high kick.
Tyon Evans takes the kick.
It's going to get around about the 30-yard line before taken down. Oh, the ball popped out, but they're going to call him down.
On the return, Tyon Evans. He's a freshman running back, 5'10", 220, out of Hartsville, South Carolina, which is kind of my old stomping ground. I'm from down there in South Carolina. And Hartsville, I can tell you for folks that maybe are watching us from around the country, not familiar with that name, Hartsville's a powerhouse program. They put out quality college players on a regular basis, and Evans is an example of that.
And don't need to worry if you hear those tornado sirens. Of course, it is Saturday at noon.
It is Saturday at noon.
Yeah, Saturday at noon. They always go off.
Welcome to Fort Dodge.
Welcome to Fort Dodge. Hutchinson's got him in motion. He's going to throw it to him towards the outside. Gets the tackle. That's going to be good for about 1 or 2 yards. Hutchinson's going to line up for second down.
Good job there defensively for the Tritons. 22, Daquan Cross over there making the play, getting out there along with 35 as well. 35 being Elijah Frecking, who's really come on in the second half of the season.
Hutchinson's going to do the no huddle here. They're going to try to go quick.
They've got trips on the right side, so we'll see if they try to do something on the right.
He's going to fake the handoff towards the outside. Overthrown on the outside. Luckily, that wasn't a backwards pass, but it was going to go out of bounds anyway. Incomplete. It's going to bring up third down.
They were looking for number 8, Kareem Brown, a 6'1" sophomore receiver, 175-pounder out of St. Augustine, Florida. A national roster for Hutchinson, guys from all over the place.
It's going to bring up third down and 8 here for Hutchinson. Same formation.
Corner's given some cushion here. We'll see if that plays a factor.
He's going to drop back. Gets sacked. Well, it's maybe escaping. Sticks with it, though, and brings him down. That's a sack for Iowa Central. Big-time 3 and out for Iowa Central's defense right here against Hutchinson.
94, Kalen Burt, a 6'3", 250-pound defensive lineman, a sophomore out of Waterloo West coming through. Kalen Burt's a guy that Coach Montalto told me last week to win against Fort Scott. Had probably the best game of his Iowa Central career, really coming on at the right time.
That was a big-time defensive stop for Iowa Central right there. 3 and out for Hutchinson's first possession. They're going to take the punt return here.
Tenarius Aiken's going to return now. Interestingly enough, Rashad Whitty would normally return punts. Yes. Rashad out with an injury today, so we'll see if that's a factor in the game.
Very squib-type punt right there. It's going to bounce, and he might pick that up. And he does. Little risky pickup there. He's going to gain some yards, though. Breaks a couple tackles. Going to try to turn across field, but he's going to get stopped at around the 43-yard line. Pretty risky play right there, but it worked out for him.
It worked out. You know, Aiken is a big play guy, and big play guys have that kind of mindset. They want to make a big play all the time. Sometimes that hurts you. That time it helps you there. The water bug, as I like to call him, Tenarius Aiken, a guy who's small, but you talk about an explosive player and a big-time playmaker. That's Tenarius Aiken.
And as you mentioned, Iowa Central does have some key inactives today. One you mentioned, Rashad Whitty, and the other one being DJ Irons is out with a neck injury right now. He is questionable for today. We might see him later in the game, but it just depends. Arthur Brantley is going to be starting for quarterback here with us today. It's a fake handoff. Arthur's going to look for some room. He's going to get sacked, though. And there is a flag on the field. Not sure. Could be unnecessary roughness or roughing the passer.
Might have been a personal foul after the play there. You mentioned DJ out. Think about this in perspective. Iowa Central 6-5 on the year. In those 5 losses, only one time has DJ played the entire game. 3 of those he was out the entire game. 1 of those he came out with injury. So that tells you how important he is to what the Tritons do.
The player never grabbed the helmet opening. Second down.
So the penalty is going to get called off. They picked up the flag. It wasn't originally going to be a face mask call, but they say that he did not grab the opening of the face mask, so it is going to bring up second down here for Iowa Central. Here comes a snap. They're going to hand the ball off. He's going to get stopped right away, though. No gain on the play.
We see Jaden Washington there. The ball comes out.
Yeah, Hutchinson's calling that. They have the ball. Waiting for the ref for the official call.
They're going to call him down.
Yeah, they're going to call him down. It's going to stick with Iowa Central here.
Latrell Bankston with the tackle for Hutchinson.
So that's going to bring up third down here for Iowa Central.
14.
Third and 14.
Big number 56 for Hutchinson, Latrell Bankston with a nice play there.
He's going to drop back, looking towards his right. Might try to find some room. Spins out of one tackle, but it ended up getting sacked for a loss of about 4 yards. That's going to bring a fourth down here for Iowa Central. 2 back-to-back 3 and outs for both teams.
Well, and 2 back-to-back plays of penetration by 56, Latrell Bankston, along with 55 in there that time as well, Rodney Matthews. But Latrell Bankston, 6'1", 300-pounder, Woodstock, Georgia, out of the Atlanta area, a guy who's got about 20 Division I offers when he gets ready to transfer out at the end of the season from Hutchinson. So look for that name coming to a campus near you. Latrell Bankston.
An interesting formation here for Hutchinson on the punt. return. They have 2 guys lined up back there in case, you know, which way it goes. And he's going to catch it. Dodges 2 guys that collide and breaks another tackle up the sideline. Hutchinson's trying to make a big return here. Breaks 1 more tackle, almost on his feet. Finally gets knocked out of bounds at around the 11-yard line. Big-time return for Hutchinson right there.
Marquise Colvin, a 6', 205-pound defensive back, a sophomore out of Ruskin, Florida, on a big return there, sets up Hutchinson. They're cooking with Crisco here in territory for Iowa Central here in the red zone. Interestingly enough, Hutchinson's been very good in the red zone this year in terms of touchdown percentage. We'll see if the Triton defense can hold them at least to 3 here.
Cooking with Crisco. I've never heard that one before.
Oh, no?
Cooking
That's a
with
new
Crisco.
one to you?
That's a new one.
May be a southern euphemism.
Maybe.
You may hear a few more of those as we go throughout the day.
So Hutchinson lining up. There's a whistle. Looks like Iowa Central's going to be taking a timeout here. It's going to be their first timeout of the half.
That's a smart timeout. I think you want to regroup, get organized here after kind of a slow start and giving up a big play in the kicking game there on the return. And you want to try to get lined up here and see if you can't read the keys that Hutchinson has shown you. Now, the Triton defense started pretty strong. Their first possession, first series, got a 3-and-out, and we'll see if they're able to hold Hutchinson out of the end zone here. I think it would be a win for the Tritons to hold them to 3, given the great field position here.
Iowa Central is definitely going to have their first test here with Hutchinson in the red zone. We'll see how their defense holds up.
I think red zone percentage, touchdown percentage in the red zone is going to be a major factor here today, Austin, because Iowa Central struggled with that a little bit over the course of the season offensively. Hutchinson's been very good at it, so whoever controls that today has a great advantage.
So Hutchinson going to line up here. They're going to be on their Iowa Central's 13-yard line. Going to be 1st and 10.
And they're going to be in a wildcat here.
Here comes a snap. They're going to hand it off towards the left side. Breaks 1 tackle. Breaks another. He's going to go towards the corner of the end zone. That's going to be a touchdown for Hutchinson right there. Good play call. That's going to bring up 6 for Hutchinson. They strike first.
13-yard touchdown run for Aaron Collins, a 6'2", 220-pound running back, a sophomore out of Plant City, Florida. You know, we talked about how Hutchinson has Division I talent. You see it on display there, and you can see it in the size of these guys. You're talking about a running back who's 6'2", 220. You know, that's a Division I size running back, and he's able to break to the outside there.
The extra point is going to be good. And as you mentioned, the running back being a Division I talent, I just saw him run towards that sideline, and I just noticed the difference of how much bigger he just is than a lot of people on the field and the physicality that he has. So it's a great point.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You know, that's going to be a big key in this. The Tritons are going to be kind of outmanned a little bit in terms of size and kind of going to be forced to rely on toughness and technique here. The 2 T's are going to be key for the Tritons here today, and we'll see if they can respond. You know, now's that point where you've given up a touchdown early in the game after a big play on special teams. Can you respond and answer the bell? Against a team like Hutchinson, you have to respond because you know that they're going to punch you. They're going to come out and punch you in the mouth. Now what are you going to do? Are you just going to take the punches, or are you going to give it back here? And that's the question for Iowa Central.
Tenarius Aiken's going to be back to return. As you mentioned, Rashad Whitty is out. I talked to Coach Mentalto. He didn't mention anything about Rashad Whitty being injured, but I remember on Tuesday I saw him walking around campus with a brace on his knee and crutches. So I'm not sure what the total injury is, but I know it's something with his leg, and we might not see him for a while here, so it depends on the injury. I'll get some updates later on.
Kickoff's going to go out of bounds, so
Yes,
Iowa Central's going to get a gift there, a little bit of a break and get good field position, and we'll see how that helps them there. During the kickoff, number 7 from Hutchinson, Katron Allen, came off the field limping, came off under his own power, but came off kind of limping there, so we'll see if he returns to the ballgame. They're working on him down there on the sideline as we speak.
So Iowa Central's going to line up on the 35-yard line, their own 35. 1st down and 10. Second drive right now for Iowa Central.
They've got a little bit of a stacked formation here, Austin. We'll see if maybe they run some sort of screen or a fake hitch on the screen and go deep here.
They're just going to hand the ball up the middle here. Kurt Taylor's the one on the carry. He's going to get good for about 2 or 3 yards.
Kurt Taylor, the Michigan transfer, a guy who, to be honest, you know, he doesn't wow you physically, but then when you watch game film on a guy like Kurt Taylor, you see just how effective he is, and he's even more effective and impressive in person.
And Kurt Taylor's coming off of an injury from last game. He's been banged up a little bit.
Oh,
Fake handoff. Arthur Brantley's going to take this one outside. He's got a lot of room. He's got well enough for a first down. He's going to run out of bounds at around the Hutchinson's 45-yard line. That's a big enough for a first down right there.
It was a nice play there. You know, on the zone read, they faked the zone read coming inside to Taylor. The defensive end bit. Well, the read there for the quarterback is the defensive end. When he bites to the inside, you go to his spot. That's exactly what happened. Good job by the offensive line, too, to kick out by the left guard on that side to get that block, seal that off for that big game.
Oh, Hutchinson jumped off sides there. Here comes the snap. It's a free play. He's going to throw long. It's going to be incomplete. Had a free play there. Wide receiver didn't really know where the ball was right there.
I don't think anybody knew exactly what was going to happen there, but you might as well take that shot on the free play. Was looking for 15, Mario Wright, out of Waterloo West High School, 5'8", 160-pound sophomore receiver. Couldn't find him, but they'll get the first down and 5 here off of the penalty, the offsides.
So they're going to line up on Hutchinson's own 39-yard line here with 1st and 10.
A little bit of a power formation here with a lead blocker out of the gun.
They're going to hand the ball off again. He's going to get stuffed. That's going to be a loss for maybe 1 yard. There's a fumble on the play, and he was not down, and referee's going to call it towards Hutchinson. That's going to be a turnover for the Tritons. Hutchinson's going to get the ball at around Iowa Central's own their own 41-yard line.
And there goes that man again, 56, Latrell Bankston. I feel like I'm going to be saying that name on constant loop today. Bankston gets in there, breaks the play up, causes the fumble, and there you see on display why he's wanted and been offered by about 20 different Power 5 schools.
So off the fumble from Iowa Central, Hutchinson's going to take the ball at their own 41-yard line, 1st and 10 set up here. They're going to hand the ball up the middle. He's got a lot of room. Breaks one tackle and one comes from behind. That's going to be a big-time gain. That's enough for a first down in their own Iowa Central territory.
They're
going to go quick here with the no-huddle offense from Hutchinson. Pistol formation. Comes a snap. They're going to do a read option. The quarterback's going to keep it. Breaks nice one tackle. Nice juke towards the outside. Finally gets tackled at around the 26-yard line. Looks like that's enough for another first down for Hutchinson.
Mark Wright, the quarterback for Hutchinson. Shifty moves there. 5'11", 190-pound sophomore out of Douglasville, Georgia, another Atlanta area school. Hutchinson likes to ground and pound. They've ran the ball about 3.5 times as much as they've thrown it in the course of the season, so they're going to look to do that today.
Quick pass towards the outside for Hutchinson. Tries a spin move. It's going to get tackled out of bounds. That's good for a decent gain.
They find Mitchell Tinsley on the catch out of Lee's Summit, Missouri, a 6 foot, 185-pound sophomore receiver there. Hutchinson's a team that they're going to throw it to keep you honest, but they want to run the football. They've got a huge offensive line and playmakers in the backfield, and so their bread and butter is going to be running the ball.
It's going to be 2nd and 3 here for Hutchinson. Another option play. He's going to give it to his running back. Gets stopped towards the outside. Looks like he's going to get enough for maybe 2 or 3 yards, maybe enough for a first down.
Tyon Evans on the carry there. Pretty good job of pursuit by the Iowa Central defense there. You know, we've been talking about Latrell Bankston, the defensive tackle for Hutchinson. So far in this game, we've played about 6 minutes, and he's got a sack, 2 tackles for loss, and a forced fumble already.
So this is enough for a Hutchinson first down. Here comes the snap. He's going to throw it towards the outside. It's a screen play. Makes one move, breaks one tackle, and is eventually going to get tackled. He's going to be inside the 10-yard line there. It's going to bring up 2nd down.
They must have a transport or some sort of direct flight from the Atlanta airport, because another Atlanta area guy or a Georgia guy, Warner Robins High School, Kobe Phillips, 6'2", 175-pound freshman receiver there.
It's going to be 2nd and 3 here for Hutchinson inside the 10. They're going to fake the handoff, and he's going to keep it on the option, and he's going to run in for the end zone. That's another touchdown here for Hutchinson with only about 6 or 7 minutes into the game here in the first quarter.
Yeah, and there we saw the running ability. You know, the dual threat option at quarterback is kind of a game changer, and we saw the ability to run the football there from quarterback Mark Wright, and we talked about that's what Hutchinson wants to do, ground and pound you, and they do it there for another touchdown.
So it's going to be 13-0 with the extra point still to come, and it is going to be good.
Extra point is good.
Score right now is going to be 14-0. Hutchinson is up with 2 touchdowns, both running touchdowns. Iowa Central's in a bit of a hole right now.
They are, and, you know, the Hutchinson offensive line's controlling this game. They're winning the battle up front. You look at 73, Demarius Warren, the right tackle, 6'2", 335 pounds. You look at Connor Lears, the left guard, 6'2", 300, out of the Little Apple, Manhattan, Kansas. You look at Justin Turnitin. Turnitin's the right tackle, 6'6", 340 pounds. Out of where? Georgia, of course. Ellenwood, Georgia, another Atlanta area school there. And so you see that size on the offensive line controlling the football game for Hutchinson, along with 77, DeMarcus Wills, who's another offensive tackle for them that shuffles in. And how about this? How about having a guy who you can put in the rotation, doesn't even start, who's 6'7" and 340 pounds?
Wow.
Mountain of a man, as they would say.
Hutchinson's going to be lining up for the kickoff here. They like to line up on the outside, on that left side. They're going to move it a little bit here, but they like to line up on on the outside, not normally, usually in the middle. Most teams like to do, but they like to be a little bit different on the kickoff.
Yeah, maybe overload that side and try to kick it to that side, give yourself some coverage. They call it, sometimes they will call that a coffin corner type of kick, and we'll see if they try that here.
So here comes the kickoff.
It's returnable.
It's going to kind of cross fields here towards the outside. Eventually going to get stopped. He's going to go reach about the 16-yard line. Iowa Central's going to set up shop here.
Christian Ford, you know, he's one of the few Georgia guys for Iowa Central. Roswell, Georgia native, a young man who's explosive in the return game, 5'11", 165-pound freshman out of Roswell High School in Atlanta. Spent many a days in Roswell, Georgia.
Really?
Earlier on in my life. I actually had a girlfriend that lived in that area, but that's a story for another day.
So they're going to set up shop here at the 16-yard line, Iowa Central. Here's a snap. And they're going to hand the ball off up the middle. He's going to get to the 23-yard line. That's going to bring up 2nd and 3 here for Iowa Central.
Triton's trailing here 14-0, 8:20 to play in the first quarter. Need to get something going here. Haven't had a whole lot of luck here, but 2nd and 3 is a manageable position here.
And they're going to hand the ball off again up the middle. Maybe good for about 1 yard. He gets tackled pretty much right away. It's going to bring up 3rd down. You know, Iowa Central's been liking to run the ball up the middle a lot in recent plays. It seems like they're kind of go-to play right now.
And I don't know that strategy is going to be successful today against such a big defensive front for Hutchinson.
Got motion here. They're going to hand the ball off towards the outside. No, actually, Arthur's going to keep it, and he's going to get tackled right away. No gain on the play. That's going to bring up 4th down for the Tritons.
And interestingly enough, they let Latrell Bankston rest there. He doesn't even play that series. And who comes up with the play? Well, his replacement, number 88 being D'Amico Rowland, the 6'3", 305-pound defensive lineman, a defensive tackle, a freshman out of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, making a play there. So another talented guy at the line of scrimmage for Hutchinson.
So that's going to be a 3 and out here for Iowa Central. 4th down and 2. They're going to punt the ball away here. It's a high kick. They're going to let that one bounce. Oh, it did touch Hutchinson on the bounce. And Iowa Central picks it up, and that's going to be possession for Iowa Central. What a huge break for Iowa Central right there. They're going to set up at around the 41-yard line. That is a gift for Iowa Central.
Like 38 yards because of the ball taking a good bounce and hitting the up man there. Rocky Schoenfelter, Johnny on the spot there. Rocky picking it up there.
On the field was the ball touch the receiving team player, recovered by Iowa Central.
That is a crazy play. You know, that was just a mental lack of concentration from Hutchinson not to get out of the way of the ball. Wasn't aware where it was.
And that's the return man's got to talk to the up man on that position. Now the ball to 41 of Hutchinson.
Arthur's going to push the ball here. There might be a flag, and there is going to be a flag. It's going to be defensive pass interference. Looks like that's going to be on number 2 from Hutchinson.
They were looking for Terrell Carey there, and he was kind of just pulled down by the corner on that side. Number 2, the corner for Hutchinson, Chu Obanga, 6'2" sophomore, defensive back, 190 pounds, out of Marietta, Georgia.
And the flag on the field is not going to be pass interference. It's going to be holding. And since the ball did cross the line of scrimmage, it's going to be a 10-yard penalty.
Big hello to all the fine folks there in Cobb County, Marietta. They may be listening to us, watching us here on Triton Nation Network.
Comes a snap. Arthur's going to drop back. He's going to pass towards the outside. It's going to be incomplete. Intended for his right side on a little drag play.
I thought Obanga was going to blast our guy there, 88, on that, but he didn't, smartly enough. They were looking for Brandon Tukes, couldn't find him, youngster out of Des Moines Lincoln High School there.
And another flag on Hutchinson, and it's going to be an offsides call. And that's going to bring up 1st and 5 for Iowa Central. Two back-to-back penalties for Hutchinson. Comes a snap. They're going to hand the ball towards the right side. It's going to break maybe one tackle. He's still pushing. Good effort right there to gain a couple more yards after the contact. That's going to bring up 2nd down, but a very manageable 2nd down.
That's what I like to call
first down. Wow.
That's what I like to call a weight room game for Jaden Washington there, because all those hours in the summer, the weight room and running through the tires and, you know, taking the contact while you keep those legs turning, that's what you work on, and that comes to pay off there.
So it is going to bring up 1st down with the 1st and 5. Arthur's going to drop back. He's going to take it for himself. Tries a spin move. He's going to get taken down. It's good for maybe about 2 yards for Iowa Central. 2nd down.
That was a good open field tackle there by 21 for Hutchinson. Jerome Spraggins, inside linebacker, 6'1", 230-pounder, a freshman out of Odenton, Maryland there. Did a good job of squaring up Arthur Brantley there. And Arthur a pretty good job of seeing the hole. And probably would have got a bigger gain against a lot of people, but a good tackle by Spraggins.
So Iowa Central inside the red zone here. 2nd down. Arthur's going to drop back. He's going to roll to his right. He's going to throw it, but it's going to go out of bounds. Almost hit Dan right there.
Our cameraman, Dan Johnson, almost making the catch over there. Gets the one hand up to defend himself, knocks away. So we'll give Dan a PBU, a pass breakup on that play. And
he almost got that.
He almost did catch it.
Hands are he doesn't have the hands to.
Well, his hands were in his pockets there.
Oh man. Dan Johnson, of course, was on the last game, commentating with you. Here comes a snap. He's going to keep it, and he's going to get stuffed behind the line, and that's going to bring up 4th down, excuse me, for Iowa Central.
Bring on the field goal unit here and see if we could get the 3 on the board. Can the Tritons put 3 on the board here to try to kind of get back in this ball game a little bit after a good break on the special teams play where the ball hit the up man on the punt?
You know, they definitely need this field goal right now. They need some points on the board. They have to feel good about a drive. You know, the drive was kind of gifted to them off the punt return, and coming away with no points on this drive is going to be a big drop in the momentum. And the kick is up, and it looks like it is going to be no good. It's going to go wide left for Iowa Central. Score is going to remain 14-0.
That one from about 27 yards, and that's as you mentioned, you know, kind of a backbreaker there.
Yeah.
You want to come away with at least 3, given the field position you got on a break, and you don't get that. So now your defense back out on the field, and it seems like the defense has been on the field the entire first quarter here. So let's see if the defense can dig in and get a stop, get the ball back here. But a tough break for Iowa Central, not putting points on the board. When you play a team as good as Hutchinson, you have to take advantage of the mistakes that they make, because they're not going to make that many.
Yeah, no.
And when they do, you have to capitalize, and Triton's unable there.
I don't see any really more opportunities like the one they just had from the punt return coming from Hutchinson. So
12 man on the field here.
Somebody was trying to get off the field. The referee's going to call 12 men on the field.
Offense, 12 men in formation, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
So they're going to call 12 men on the field.
The
That's going to
12
back them
man
up
on the
5
field
yards.
there was Mitchell Tinsley, a 6-foot, 190-pound receiver out of Lee Summit, Missouri. I don't know that they knew what formation they wanted to come out in there, and so kind of got a little confused. And, so Hutchinson will be backed up here to start the drive.
And, Hutchinson's had a little bit of a struggle here with some penalties. Been quite a few penalties from them.
They have.
So they're going to run the ball here towards the right side. He's breaking a lot of tackles. He's eventually going to dive forward and gain maybe about 2 or 3 yards. There's a bunch of penalty flags in the field,
On the play there in the backfield makes you think that it's probably going to be a hold or block in the back.
That's what I'm suspecting, too. Here comes the official call from the referee. Hutchinson is backing up.
Personal foul.
It's going to be a personal foul on the offense. 2? It's actually going to be 2 illegal chop blocks on Hutchinson from their offensive line. And that's going to back them up a few yards here.
And for those folks that don't know what a chop block is, maybe not that familiar because you don't see that call a lot.
Not much.
What it is, when the guy is engaged in a block in his upper body, you cannot then block him in his lower body.
Yeah.
The great Jerry Ball, former NFL defensive tackle, his career was ended with a chop block in the NFL, and we've seen that. So they do enforce that there, and that's the call. It goes against Triton 75 and Robert Lacey 79.
Here comes a snap. Quarterback's just going to keep it. He's going to get good for maybe about 5 or so yards. Kind of a rough play at the end there.
Burke's on the stop.
Both guys that got called for the chop block are both guys who are over 300-pound offensive linemen for Hutchinson across the board.
Yeah.
I'm looking in preparation, was looking at their roster and stuff, and I saw that not only they had a lot of guys from Georgia, but they've got more 300-pounders than a sumo wrestling tournament on the Hutchinson football team.
That's funny.
A lot of big, angry, hostile, mobile guys.
So he's going to drop back here. He's going to look to pass up the middle. He looks like he got hit while he threw. And that's going to be incomplete towards the middle field. It's going to bring up 3rd down here for the Hutchinson Blue Dragons.
By Matt Hansen.
No. They're doing like a fire science burn.
Home and regular season finale today for the Tritons.
Yeah, this is a big-time game for them. It's going to be the last time we're going to be broadcasting here at Dodger Stadium. Of course, we will be broadcasting the Graphic Edge Bowl. Looking forward to that. But, a little bit bittersweet broadcasting this. Last broadcast here at Dodger Stadium.
Home game, yeah.
For me,
and for the guys who are sophomores that'll be moving on,
it is
their last time to play.
It is sophomore night here for Iowa
Some of
Central.
us doing it some of the time.
Play here. Quarterback's going to keep it again. Doesn't look like he's going to get enough for the first down. Well short of the marker. That's going to bring up 4th down for Hutchinson. Definitely the penalties had a big effect on this drive for Hutchinson right now.
Good job for the defense there. The Triton defense doing a good job to get a 3 and out there and get the ball back to the offense. Pretty good job. Kalen Burt was in there again, kind of disrupting things. And Burt's really playing well of late. Makes a big play there. And Marquise Burks as well in there. The sophomore out of Chicago, Illinois.
Like I understand you work and you still show
here, almost blocked.
Tenarius going to pick that. No, he's going to let that one roll.
Yeah, he's going to let that one roll. That's going to roll around the. It's going to be at the 41-yard line where the ball was touched. They're going to set up with pretty decent field position here.
You see the Hutchinson defense come out on the field, and you talk about guys that look the part, and they certainly do, especially on the back. Well, the front half of that defense, the front line, they're huge, and we talked about that. But the back half are guys who are rangy, who are tall, who are long, and who have good size for the position in the defensive backfield, and that makes a big difference.
So they're going to be at the 46-yard line. Iowa Central was first touch there. Here comes a snap. New quarterback in the game. And that's going to have some room towards the outside. Denarius Aiken. That's well enough for a first down. Going to be around the 30-yard line. Great play right there with the new quarterback coming in.
Waterbug Tenarius Aiken, young man listed at 5'7", 155 pounds, a sophomore, out of Lafayette, Louisiana, Acadiana country, Cajun country down there. But, you know, Tenarius, I think that might be a little bit generous at 5'7", 155. I think he may be more around 5'5" at 140.
Wow. And here comes the keep on the jet sweep.
Gibbons out of quarterback keeper.
Gibbons with the take.
21-yard line.
Good motion there by the offense. Send a man in motion, get the defense moving one way, then try to go opposite that. And Chance Gibbons is in the game at quarterback, number 19. He's a 6'4", 220-pound freshman out of Ankeny Centennial High School right here in Iowa. A tremendous traditional power program in 4A in Iowa.
Very familiar with Ankeny Centennial. It was actually it's pretty new high school. I remember when they expanded to 2 schools in Ankeny, where of course where DMAC is.
It's part of that population explosion going on down in Ankeny and the Des Moines area as well, suburban Des Moines area.
I'm definitely very familiar with Ankeny.
I made the trip down there with Fort Notch football earlier this year, and made the long trip back after kind of a beatdown. So Ankeny Centennial, I saw them up close and personal there for real.
So after the penalty, I was just going to back up a few yards, and he's going to get stuffed in the backfield with a sack from Hutchinson. That's going to bring up 3rd down and very long for Iowa Central.
And Chance took a shot there. The fact that he popped back up to his feet shows his toughness, because he got absolutely planted by 32 Nico Cooper, who's a 6'5", 230-pound defensive lineman, a defensive end, a freshman out of Memphis, Tennessee. Shot through that gap there and was able to get to Chance untouched.
So that's going to bring up 3rd and 23 for the Tritons. Here comes the snap. It's just going to be a keep. He's trying to find some room to go. He's got nowhere to go, though. It's going to be stopped. It's going to be a loss of about 1 or 2 yards for Iowa Central. That's going to bring up 4th down. Didn't look like that play was going anywhere from the start.
Yeah, they were trying to run a draw there, and the hole never opened up. And it's hard to, get a gap against these guys, because these guys from Hutchinson are, so big at the defensive line that, the gaps are a lot smaller when the guys are that much bigger, and so that's what we had there, and that gap never opened up, the hole never opened, play never materialized.
So Iowa Central is going to punt it away here on 4th and 27. Comes the snap. Almost got blocked there. It's going to be a fair catch call, but he's just going to let it bounce, and Iowa Central is going to pick that one up around the 20-yard line. That's going to bring up another drive here for Hutchinson. First quarter still isn't over. We have 1 minute and 2 seconds left in the first quarter.
In a 14-0 ball game, if you're just joining us, 2 touchdowns for Hutchinson here in the first quarter, both on the ground. One a 13-yard touchdown run from Aaron Collins, the other a 12-yard touchdown run from quarterback Mark Wright, and that's where we sit at 14-0. Defensively, Hutchinson's been incredibly solid. 56 defensive tackle, Latrell Bankston with a forced fumble, a sack, and 2 tackles for loss.
So Hutchinson's going to be on their own 20-yard line, and a screen pass here towards the outside, gets a nice block. It's going to get clobbered up by 2 defenders, though. That's going to be good for about 5 yards. 2nd down here for the Blue Dragons.
There you go, the kind of short passing game there. They're gonna use that short intermediate passing game to try to offset the run here. They want to run it first. They want to run it first. They want to run it second, but they're going to throw it third, and they're going to throw in that short and intermediate game. And they've got some guys who make plays out of it.
Going to fake the handoff, throw towards the right side. Receiver wasn't even looking. So that's going to bring up an incomplete pass and 3rd down here for Hutchinson.
Yeah, and that was going to be a corner route to the sideline there, and a good job of cutting that route off. Good defensive coverage by Iowa Central there by 24 Kingston McKinstry in there, a 5'11", 180-pound freshman defensive back out of Grove City, Ohio.
So 3rd down and 5 here for Hutchinson off the incomplete pass. Here comes the snap. We're going to have a motion towards the left side. May look to throw. He does.
Drops.
He's going to bobble that one a little bit, eventually drop. So it's going to be incomplete here for Hutchinson. That's going to bring up 4th down. Hutchinson looking a little bit off their game right now. Iowa Central might need to capitalize soon.
One of the things that you talk to coaches about and you hear from coaches about Hutchinson is they're extremely talented. Obviously, we know that. They're big, they're physical, they're athletic. But one of the kind of negative things is at times they're disinterested. At times they don't execute as well as they probably should. And we're starting to see some instances of that here.
So here comes the punt. It's going to be kind of a line drive towards the outside. Tenarius Aiken is just going to let that one bounce. And they're going to pick it up around the 32-yard line, excuse me. So Iowa Central is going to have manageable field position here with 11 seconds left on the clock until the first quarter is over. Still 14-0 with the Blue Dragons being on top.
We'll see what the Tritons can do. Can they get something going? They've put the rotation back together in terms of the starters on the defensive line. Bankston now comes back in after sitting 2 series in a row there in the first quarter here. He and 55 as well in there, Matthews.
So Arthur Brantley back at quarterback here. He's going to drop back towards the outside. Complete pass on the little wheel route. It's going to be a break of tackle. Big hit towards the outside. It's going to reach almost the 50-yard line, but that's going to bring up a first down here for Iowa Central.
Good job by Wash there to get the swing pass and then run hard north-south, make a man miss, get a big gain there. And that's what you're talking about. You know, when you have playmakers, you can swing the ball out. You know, you only threw it about 2 yards, but you got a bunch of yak on the back end from Washington, and that's why you recruit those kind of playmakers.
So that is going to be the end of the quarter. They're going to go towards the sideline, take a quick break here. You know, first quarter recap, Hutchinson pretty much dominated that first half of the first quarter, but, you know, Hutchinson's kind of slowed down here towards the end, and Iowa Central still hasn't been able to capitalize. What do you think Iowa Central has to do, especially on this drive, to get back on track and compete in this game?
Right. Well, they're going to have to, you know, execute and be a little bit more consistent offensively. I think you have to kind of get away from the inside run. Now, I'm not saying get away from the run altogether, but I think you're going to have to run it to the outside. When you look at Bankston at 300 pounds and Matthews at 300 pounds at defensive tackle, and then the rotational guys as well that are so talented, so big at the defensive line in the interior there, I don't think you can run it up the middle. So let's see if they make some adjustments and try to stretch out the run a little bit, run the ball to the outside, maybe some toss sweep, some option, zone read type stuff here.
Definitely seems like they're trying to adjust their play call around Arthur Brantley's skill set with his running ability.
Well, and that's what you have to do here in this situation.
So it is going to be bring up the second quarter. First down and 10 here, opening drive of the second quarter for Iowa Central. We got a man in motion towards the left side. Maybe a little bit of a jump there from the Blue Dragons. No call. Big pass towards the outside intended for a Tenarius Aiken. It's going to be incomplete. That's going to bring up second down and 10.
You know, that's a tough throw. Not only is it a tough throw to make, but it puts a tough position for Tenarius there, too, because, you know, Tenarius being, you know, as good as he is, but he's a small guy. You know, we talked about him being undersized, you know. That's why we call him, you know, the water bug. But he's a big-time player, but it's hard to find a guy of his size over the top like that in a one-on-one situation.
So they're going to fake the handoff on a read option there. Arthur Brantley's going to take a really good read there.
Close to the first down.
Yeah, it's going to be very close. Looks like he may have got it. Very good read right there. If he would have gave that ball off, he would have been stuffed right away. They definitely committed to the run.
He's going to be about a yard shy.
So it's going to bring up 3rd and 1 with it being a yard shy.
Brings up 3rd and a yard.
Iowa Central is definitely going to have to capitalize here.
A late shift by the defense there.
They're going to hand the ball up the middle. Looks like he is going to have enough for a first down, it looks like.
May have to mark it.
Washington on the carry.
May have it by the length of the ball.
And they're going to signal. Yep, they're going to signal for the first down. Run good for about 2 yards there.
That's a pretty good job. You know, Hutchinson kind of shifted the defensive lineman late. When you see him shift, go ahead and snap the ball. Good job by Iowa Central. Good recognition.
So they're going to hand the ball off again. Up the middle, he's going to get tackled right away. No gain on the play. That's second down here for Iowa Central.
Anytime that we can get Bankston going right to left instead of north and south, or going east to west instead of north and south, then we need to take advantage of it. So if he's moving that way, snap the ball and let's go.
So loss of 1 on the play. 2nd and 11 here for Iowa Central. They're going to get maybe a play call change here
And
from the sideline.
that's not to say that he can't move right to left,
Yeah.
but he's much more adept at going north-south and getting penetration.
Comes a snap. They're going to do a little bit of a curl route there, intended for Aiken. That's going to be incomplete, a little bit overthrown, and that's going to be incomplete. That's going to bring up third down. Looked like just a simple, all receivers on the right side, just 3 steps out, curl towards the quarterback, but just couldn't get it on target there.
Yeah, couldn't hook up there. And again, you know, with Tenarius, you know, putting him in the slot there, you're putting him in traffic. It's harder to find a smaller guy in traffic.
And that's going to be a false start on Iowa Central. He knew that he had a false start as soon as he jumped, put his head down, knew the mistake he made.
And here's the thing, you know, as good as Hutchinson is defensively, you can't give them help. And by getting in third and long situation, you're giving them help and basically telling them, okay, it's third and long. You know, you don't have as much in your playbook, so defensively you know what you're doing here. You just pin your ears back and you come after the quarterback.
So 3rd and 16 here. Arthur Brantley's going to roll out to his right side, maybe looking to throw. He's going to keep it himself, but he's going to get stopped right away. Not going to get much past the line of scrimmage. That's going to bring
3
up
or 4
fourth down.
guys in there, 55 Matthews, 56 Bankston, as well as number 90 in there as well. Or 92, Anthony Hill, also in there to make the stop for Hutchinson.
So it's going to be 4th down and 15 for Iowa Central. They're going to punt the ball away here on Hutchinson's 45-yard line. Of course, they have 2 punt returners in the back, one on each side of the field. Comes the kick. It's going to be curved towards the right side. Hutchinson's going to catch it. He's just going to run out of bounds at around the 17 or 16-yard line.
And interestingly enough here, Hutchinson's warming up the backup quarterback here on the sideline. I don't know if they're planning on going with him, but Kari Lane is getting loose here on the sideline. Kari Lane is a sophomore quarterback, 6'1", 215 pounds. And guess where he's from, Austin?
Georgia?
Georgia.
Yeah, yes. How did I know?
I don't know.
I'm a master.
Because you could just about throw a dart at the guy.
Pattern.
Yeah. Yeah, you just follow the pattern.
It's going to bring up 1st down and 10 here. They're going to be on their own 16-yard line. He gives the ball off, breaks a couple tackles in the backfield, still going, and finally gets tackled for a loss of about 4 yards, I believe. It's going to bring up 2nd down.
Good job there of rallying to the football by Iowa Central. On defense there, Jerron Barber ends up making the tackle, but a lot of guys in there getting penetration and swarming the football, allowing Barber to then string that play out and make the play. Barber, a 5'9", 175-pound sophomore defensive back out of St. Louis, Missouri.
So that's going to be a loss of 6 yards on the play. It's going to bring up 2nd and 16 here for Hutchinson. Comes a snap. He's going to drop back. He's looking, trying to find somebody over the middle, and Hutchinson wanted a flag on that play. It's going to be incomplete, but they're not going to get it. That's going to bring up 3rd down.
I thought it was pretty good coverage there.
Yeah.
You know, a little bump and grind there, but nothing I think that caused the receiver not to be able to catch the ball. So I thought it was a good defensive play there by Iowa Central there. Number 8 on the coverage, Tyreen Stevens, a 6'1", 175-pound sophomore defensive back out of Richmond, Virginia.
And there is a flag on the field. It's towards the back end of Hutchinson. It might be on Hutchinson. Looks like Hutchinson's moving forward.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense, number 95.
And it's going to be a roughing the passer call on Iowa Central. And that's going to move them forward, and it's going to be an automatic 1st down. That's a tough break.
That's a backbreaker. It really is, because you had them in a good position there, and now you're going to give them the 1st down. Marquise Burks with the roughing the passer, the 6'3", 300-pound sophomore out of Chicago, Illinois, the defensive lineman. Couldn't get stopped there and hits the quarterback late.
So it is going to be 1st down and 10 here for Hutchinson. Throw towards the outside, gets caught. He's trying to break a couple tackles. There is 2 flags on the field towards the back end of Hutchinson. Might be a call on Hutchinson, maybe a hold. Waiting for the official call here. A lot of penalties in this game from, both sides.
Has been, that's a little bit of a lack of execution and focus, especially from Hutchinson. And we kind of talked about that they do get a little bit of a reputation around, JUCO football with that. And another chop block here. That's the second time we've seen that.
Yeah, second chop block on Hutchinson. That's going to back him up a few yards there. And, of course, you mentioned the chop block. It is a very dangerous play.
It is.
Because they're so unprotected down there, and it could hit their kneecap, break certain bones down there. It's just very dangerous, maybe a career ending.
It is. Good job by the officials keeping that clean. That goes against 69, Denzel Gaston, a sophomore, 6'3", 330-pound offensive lineman out of West Jordan, Utah. Another one of those big hog mollies up front, over 300 pounds for Hutchinson.
That was a big-time penalty. It's going to bring up 1st and 22 for Hutchinson, and they're going to hand it off towards the right side. That's going to be good for maybe a couple yards. It's going to bring up 2nd down.
Good job by the Triton defense there, getting to the outside, setting the edge. E.J. Brown wouldn't play there, the defensive back, 5'11", 200-pounder, a sophomore out of Stevenson High School in Stone Mountain, Georgia. So one of the few Triton guys from the state of Georgia here. Georgia putting out, the Peach State putting out talent, churning it out at a record pace in this day and time.
It's going to be 2nd and 22 here for Hutchinson. They're going to throw it towards the left side on a little screen pass. Breaking a couple tackles. He finally gets stopped. That's going to be maybe a loss or 1 or 2 on the play. That's going to bring up 3rd down.
The Rocky Schoenfelder doing a good job in coverage there and runs that play down and makes the stop on a short game.
And it is a great day for college football, here in JUCO with Hutchinson versus Iowa Central. And, of course, in national football, Alabama's going to be going up against LSU, #1 versus #2.
Yeah, so it's going to be a showdown in T-Town today, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, for that one. I'm looking forward to that one.
There was a jump on the play, and there is a penalty for offsides, I believe, on Iowa Central. That's going to move them forward probably 5 yards.
And just a little bit of a score update, a big game in terms of Big Ten. Everybody kind of had the circled on the calendar today to see if Minnesota is for real or not after an 8-0 start. Well, they're ahead 24-13 at the half on Penn State. So
wow.
We'll see if that holds.
Too. Wow.
Penn State's a pretty good football team.
And, Iowa's going up against Wisconsin later today. Iowa State going up against Oklahoma. My Iowa State Cyclones. Can't say I'm looking too forward to that game. Oklahoma's
That's
very
right.
Tough
you are
team.
A Cyclone fan.
Yes, I am.
Could be a rough go of it tonight in Norman there for the Cyclones.
I'm hoping for the best. I'll tell you that. So he's going to bring up 3rd and 16. He's going to drop back, roll out to his right, signaling to his wide receivers, throws it deep here. May have had a man on the fly, but overthrows him a little bit. That's going to bring up 4th down here for Hutchinson. Hutchinson hasn't had some opportunities, hasn't been able to put it together, some offense.
Yeah, the Tritons have done a good job defensively slowing them down after kind of giving up a couple of plays early. But, really, if you think about it, you take away the big special teams play that set up a touchdown for Hutchinson. Other than that, only one drive for Hutchinson today where the Triton defense really gave up any sort of sustained drive and any sort of yardage, really. So they're doing a pretty good job there.
And, the penalties definitely aren't helping Hutchinson right now.
True.
With a lot of mistakes that they're making. And Tenarius Aiken's just going to make the fair catch call at around the 38-yard line. Looks like it's going to be the 39-yard line.
I'm not sure about the fair catch there in terms of, to me, he had some room. He had a lot more room on that than he did the one he picked up off the ground and got a good gain off of it. So.
Yeah, he was kind of catching off of his back foot there. I think he was trying to play it safe.
Drifting that way, but
he didn't want to maybe risk Buffalo.
I think what I would tell him, look, if a guy's not bearing down on you in this particular time, we need a big play. So we need a guy with big play potential to try to make a big play, and I would encourage that.
So here's a snap. They're going to hand the ball up the middle. And he's going to get good for about maybe 4 yards on the play. It's going to bring up 2nd down for the Tritons.
Grant Walker running it inside there. Got a few yards. You know, we've seen that be kind of a tough road to go at here and tough way to gain yardage inside against Hutchinson.
Comes a snap. Looks like they're going to hand it off again up the middle, but there's going to be a flag on the play. Looks like it's going to be a false start on Iowa Central. That's going to back them up 5 yards.
False start. Offense.
And it is going to be a false start.
Penalty remains second down.
It's going to be a 5-yard penalty. That's going to back them up 5 yards. It's going to bring up 2nd and 11.
That one goes against Anthony Berry, 75. He's a 6'5", 260-pound offensive tackle, a freshman out of Urbandale, Iowa, Urbandale High School.
So 2nd and 11 here for Iowa Central. 10 minutes and 25 seconds left here in the second quarter of this game. Here comes a snap. He's going to fake the handoff. He's got a lot of pressure on that right side, and he's going to get to them. That's going to be a sack on the play. That's a loss of a lot of yards there. That's going to bring up third down and long for the Tritons.
Lewis Wallace with the sack.
89, Lewis Wallace, a sophomore, 6'2", 290-pound defensive end out of Sylvania, Georgia, with a big play there. He came off that end, beat the tackle, and just came kind of scot-free after beating the tackle on this side on the left tackle there.
There's going to be a timeout called. Looks like it's on the Hutchinson side.
Hutchinson couldn't figure out how to line up defensively there.
Timeout. Hutchinson.
So timeout on the play. That's going to be their first of the half. Each team has 2 timeouts left here. 9 minutes and 48 seconds left of the second quarter. Still a lot of ball game left to play here. Iowa Central still scoreless. Score is 14-0. Hutchinson has the lead. No score yet here in the second quarter. Hutchinson's looked a little bit, discombobulated a little bit, I would say, on offense, and they haven't been able to put together a successful drive.
Yeah, I think it's partially them kind of hurting themselves in the penalties, but I also think it's partially a credit to the Iowa Central defense and making some adjustments here early and coming to play here. They've been able to control the gaps. You know, they in the first drive that Hutchinson scored on, they blew Iowa Central off the ball. Since then, that really hasn't happened, so credit to the defensive line and the adjustments on the defensive side for the Tritons.
So it is going to be 3rd and 22 here for Iowa Central. They're going to drop back to pass. It's going to roll out just a little shovel pass.
Shovel pass complete.
And that's going to be complete, but no gain on the play. That's going to bring up 4th down here for Iowa Central.
Number 36, Deontay Gibson.
You know,
36, Deontay Gibson makes the play. He's a linebacker, 6'4", 240-pound linebacker, a sophomore out of Lithonia, Georgia.
Tinsley and Colvin dropping back deep to accept the.
And, you know, we haven't seen many big passes down the field from Iowa Central, maybe 1 or 2, none complete.
Well, there's a couple of reasons for that. One being they can't get much time. Hutchinson's been able to get a pass rush here and get in the face.
A little bit of muffed on the punt, and he's not going to have any time to kick it off. He's just going to hold it, and Hutchinson's going to get the tackle, and he's going to be down at around the 9-yard line. That's a turnover on downs, and Hutchinson's going to take over in the red zone with 1st and goal. That's a big-time play from Hutchinson and a big heartbreak for Iowa Central.
Yeah, a big mistake there for Iowa Central. 30, Roger Yard makes the tackle there to give them the ball. Hutchinson's been able to get a pass Iowa Central kind of territory here in the red zone. And, you know, Iowa Central's had a little trouble on special teams. We saw a big return lead to a touchdown for Hutchinson. Now we'll see if this muffed snap on the punt here ends up being a touchdown for Hutchinson.
They're actually going to line up at around the 13-yard line for Hutchinson. So inside the red zone already to start this drive. Pistol formation here for Hutchinson. They're going to hand the ball off up the middle. Good time stop right there from Iowa Central. It might be a loss of 1 yard on the play. Good penetration right there from Iowa Central.
Yeah, it was a good job from Luke Scholl. Scholl's a 6'2", 260-pound sophomore defensive lineman out of Centennial High School in Minneapolis there. And a good job by him of coming in off of that edge and making a play inside.
So 2nd and 11 here for Hutchinson.
5-man defensive front here for the Tritons.
Comes a snap. He's going to drop back, look towards his left side. Looks like it may have got tipped a little bit from that defensive end. I think it did, but he still got the pass complete, and that's good for about 6 yards or so on the play. That's going to bring up third down.
I think Scholl was able to get a finger on that, but not enough of it to really disrupt it.
It's going to be 3rd and 4 for Hutchinson. Just under 8 minutes to go here in the second quarter before halftime. Iowa Central trying to hold Hutchinson to a field goal here. Here comes a snap. They're going to toss the ball towards the right side. He's got some room, but he gets the stop there. I think he's going to be short of the first down marker. Hutchinson brings up 4th down. And we're going to see if they're maybe going to go for it here or kick a field goal. The offense looks like it's going to be staying on the field. I think they're going to try to go for it here.
They're going to try to lean on that big offensive line and try to get this short yardage conversion on 4th down.
I definitely expect a run up the middle with some physicality. Here comes the snap. Trying to draw them off sides here. Iowa Central doesn't jump.
Play clock at 5.
Yeah, they're going to have to snap it quick here. There's a
call timeout.
They're going to call a timeout. They may have just were trying to get Iowa Central to jump off sides here. Let's see if maybe they're going to still go for it or kick a field goal here.
You know, normally, especially at the college level, the hard count, you're not going to draw people off sides, you know, much, but they do have timeouts there, so pretty strategic usage there. And if I'm them, I go ahead and send the kick team out. I mean, you're looking at about an 18, 19-yard field goal, very makeable field goal. You know, and you're also you're trusting your defense here if you do that, because your defense has been really good. You're kind of saying, okay, we're not going to get 7, we're going to get you 3, and we think that getting you 3 is good enough because of how well you're playing on the defensive side.
And, you know, with the field goal, they're still going to go up by 3 possessions if they do get the field goal, so it's kind of an interesting approach, but it looks like their offense is going to stay out on the field, and they are going to go for it here.
Okay. Well, we'll see how that plays out. Big play here.
Yeah, 4th down and 3. Big-time play here from Hutchinson. This is going to be a huge big-time stop from Iowa Central or a big-time play from Hutchinson. Here comes a snap. He's going to drop back to pass. He's going to find towards the left side. Looks like you had a man open. Enough for the first down. Maybe not a touchdown, but he's going to drop the ball. And that's a stop for Iowa Central. Turnover on downs. Big-time drop right there from Hutchinson.
It really was. It was a little bit underthrown, looking for Justin Gardner, a 6'2 receiver, 190-pound sophomore out of Johns Creek, Georgia, there, but couldn't find him. And, see, that's why I kind of feel like you kicked the ball there, because you want to get the 3. You get the 3, put your defense in a position to play for you here. You know, nothing's a bigger momentum changer than a 4th down play. Whether you get, you know, if you get it, then you've got momentum. If not, they do. So we'll see if that changes things in the game.
So Iowa Central is going to take the ball on the 6-yard line on their own. He's going to hand the ball off towards the right side. He's going to get stopped right away.
Washington on the carry.
That's going to be a loss of about 2 or so yards.
Latrell Bankston with the tackle.
Bankston with another tackle there.
Interesting position Iowa Central is right here, backed up against their own end zone. You may see them, you know, just try to run out of this situation, not want to risk a turnover, but they may have to go a little bit risky here and try to pass the ball downfield to able to get some yards. He's going to drop back to pass. He's going to roll out to his right. He's going to throw the ball downfield looking for Aiken. He does get the catch, but it's going to be out of bounds.
You know, you're throwing into the wind now, too, as the wind starts to pick up here. Triton's going into the wind, so that's going to be even more difficult.
Was double covered on the play. It was a great catch, but just out of bounds. That's going to bring up 3rd down here. 3rd and 12 for Iowa Central on their own 4-yard line. Four wideouts on the play here. Trying to get them with the hard count. Here comes the snap. Arthur's going to just keep this one for himself. Gets one block, got some room. Might turn up to the right side. That might be enough for a first down. And it is going to be enough for a first down. Great play call right there and great moves from Arthur Brantley to get out of that situation.
Good job there, finding the hole, using his feet to extend the play. That's Arthur's strong suit.
That's a big-time play from Iowa Central. It's going to bring up first down. They have some breathing room, and they're going to pass towards that left side. Just a little bit overthrown towards the outside, and it's going to be incomplete. Looked like he may have had the man open. That's going to bring up second down.
Looking for Jason Young, a 6'4", 210-pound sophomore receiver out of Bettendorf High School in Bettendorf, Iowa here. Bettendorf still in the Iowa High School football playoffs. They'll be in the 4A semifinals in the Unidome this coming week.
So second down and 10 here for Iowa Central. Here comes the play. They're going to do a read option here. Brantley's going to keep it. He's going to get a decent amount of yards. That's going to bring up third down. A manageable third down.
And I'm sure Jason Young would want to wish his alma mater, Bettendorf, luck, and they're going to need it because they're taking on Dowling Catholic in the state semifinals.
Dowling is always tough.
The powerhouse Dowling Catholic back in the state semis. And it looks like a collision course in that respect, in that realm, between Dowling and West Des Moines Valley.
You know, yeah, as you mentioned, Valley, that's always the team I've known as the powerhouse for high school. It was either Dowling or Valley that we had to go up against. Pass towards the outside.
Bettendorf will play Dowling, and then Valley is playing Cedar Rapids Kennedy.
Yeah. I'm from Newton, of course. We've had a little bit of struggle from time to time. We've had, I think my senior year was the first time we ever had a super successful year. I think we went kind of undefeated. I think we only had one loss in the year for Newton Cardinals. But
Coleman dropping back deep for Hutchinson.
Iowa Central's going to punt it away here on fourth down. We talked about the two return men back here. A little bit of a different kind of a safe cover here.
Yeah.
With two men in the backfield.
So here's the punt. It's going to be kicked kind of on the bottom of it. It's going to take a weird bounce. It's going to be returnable, and he's going to get some room towards the outside. Looks like he is going to – referee's going to say he stepped out of bounds at around the 33-yard line.
And that's Colvin again there with a good return. Marquise Colvin, we've seen him in the return game make a difference here today, and he makes another one, setting up Hutchinson in a good spot here at the 33.
You know, my days at Newton, the only team that I knew that we always just hated to go up against was Pella. That was our number one rival. A little Dutch.
Let's see if Iowa Central, see if the Tritons can do something defensively here. A turnover would be really big for the Triton defense if they can create one.
So here comes the snap. He's going to hand it off up the middle. He's got a lot of room right there. I don't think anybody's going to get him. That's going to be a touchdown for Hutchinson right off the first play.
And Austin, he gone. Tyon Evans, number 15, just goes 33 yards for the touchdown. The freshman, 5'10", 220-pounder out of Hartsville, South Carolina, takes that one to the house for the third rushing touchdown for Hutchinson for tonight.
That was a big-time run and a big-time play from Hutchinson right there. That's going to make it 20-0 for the Blue Dragons with the extra point still to come. And the extra point was kicked right off a lineman that's going to be picked up here. Iowa Central might have a potential to turn it around and get 2 points out of it.
He's not going to have
He's not going to be able to get there, but big-time opportunity right there from Iowa Central.
Pushing and shoving after the play here, too.
A little bit, getting a little bit chippy here.
Hutchinson 20, Iowa Central 0.
But missed extra point right there. It looks like he just kind of kicked it at his lineman and it bounced off maybe one of the helmets.
Well, when your linemen are the size of Mount Kilimanjaro, you're going to kick it off of them every once in a while.
Yeah. So the missed extra point's going to make the score still 20-0.
I believe he kicked it off the back of 77. DeMarcus Mills, a 6'7", 340-pound freshman out of Morrisville, North Carolina there.
He might have a mild concussion after that. I'm not sure. I might have to look at him with the force that he kicked that ball off of. So it is going to be 20-0. Hutchinson has the lead here with 4 minutes and 53 seconds left to go in the second quarter until halftime. Hutchinson about to kick the ball away here. Iowa Central's definitely got to get something going on this drive. Not a lot of time here in the first half. Still haven't put any points up on the board. A touchdown would be big here for Iowa Central to make the game a lot more manageable going into the second
Yeah, you
half.
got to do something to try to climb back in the game, get a little momentum going here.
So here comes the kickoff. They're going to kick it towards the left side. Returnable, but he's just going to let that one bounce out of the end zone for a touchback. Big drive right here from Iowa Central. What do you think Iowa Central has to do to make it an effective drive and get some points out of it?
You know, I think you want to try to go swing pass here or something intermediate. Let's get some tempo going, too. Let's make a bigger Hutchinson defense, kind of chase here and kind of get them off of their rhythm a little bit, was what I would say here. I think you want to go some misdirection stuff, show some motion. You have to throw some different looks at these guys. You can't come straight forward against such a big and aggressive athletic defense.
So it's going to be first down on the 25-yard line. They're going to hand the ball off. There's a flag on the play. Got a lot of room. It's going to make a pretty good gain right there. It gets to about the 44-yard line.
Inside counter there for Washington, but I think it's going to come back.
It looks like it is. Might be a holding call on Iowa Central, waiting for the official call from the referee. It's going to be a personal foul. It's going to be a personal foul with a illegal chop block on Iowa Central's offensive line. That's going to back them up a pretty decent amount of yards. Another chop block call here. That's a third one today.
Yeah, they're making a point of emphasis to enforce that here today, and they do. I believe that is is it the third or fourth total?
I think it's the third. There was two on Hutchinson earlier in the day. This is the first one called on Iowa Central, but a lot of chop block calls here. A lot more than usual than you see in a regular game.
Goes against 75 Anthony Berry and 70 Richard Rodriguez.
So here's the snap. They're going to hand the ball off towards the right side. It's a handoff to Washington. He's going to fight for maybe a 2 or so yards. That's going to bring up second down here for Iowa Central.
4:20 to play here before halftime. 20-0 Hutchinson. But all the Blue Dragons here, 3 rushing touchdowns. Iowa Central yet to get anything going.
You know, the sun seems like it's coming out on us pretty good here. I kind of feel the heat a little bit today, and not so cold from the bad weather we've been getting here so far. There's a flag on the play. Arthur Brantley's going to drop back, throw towards his right side. He pushes off a little bit, almost got the catch. It's going to be incomplete, and there is a flag on the play.
Pass attempts could be forward.
It looks like it's going to be an offsides call.
Defense, number 41.
It's going to be offsides on number 41 for Hutchinson, and they're going to replay third down.
Correction, second down.
And it was a mistake by the referee. It is second down. It's going to bring up second and 14 here for Iowa Central on their own 21-yard line. Here comes a snap. They're going to hand the ball up the middle. He's going to break out towards the right side. Gets a pretty decent gain there. It's going to bring up a pretty manageable third down here for Iowa Central.
Justin Gardner. Over the Triton. First down. No,
sorry. the stadium announcer definitely thought we had a first down and was very excited about it, but it turns out
he gets very excited about that type of thing. And the PA man there, you know, not only has the offense been out of sync, well, so's the PA announcer.
He was really wanting that first down, wasn't he? Here comes the snap. Brantley's going to move up a little bit in the pocket, but eventually get brought down for the sack, and that's going to be a loss of about 1 yard. That's going to bring up fourth down here for Iowa Central.
32, Nico Cooper in there to make the sack, a freshman defensive lineman, 6'4", 225, a defensive end out of Memphis, Tennessee. Of course, coming up at halftime, Austin, we'll look at some scores around college football here as well. Of course, we did mention Minnesota, and they still carry that 24-13 lead in the second half. So we'll take a look at all the action around college football coming up at the half.
That's a very impressive lead right there, with, of course, Penn State being the 4th ranked in the college playoff.
Yeah, and you know, that's a sore subject for some folks.
Yeah.
The Penn State Nittany Lions ranked number 4 there.
Mainly because they're over the Clemson Tigers.
Yeah. Well, being from the Clemson area, I've been hearing about it all week from folks back home.
Yeah.
You know, I told them, as I'll tell everybody that asks me, quit worrying about that. Just take care of your business. You win. If you're an undefeated defending national champion, you will not be left out. You'll be there when it matters. So
I think they'll be
fine.
fine.
Business. We saw the punt there get kind of held up by the wind. That wind's blowing pretty hard. As a matter of fact, it's blowing my stuff here at the broadcast position around.
You know, do you remember that one game where your pizza went flying?
Yes. We had the 10 almost blow away on us that day.
Completed pass towards the left side. It's going to be good for about maybe 1 yard for Hutchinson. It's going to bring up second down.
Second and 8.
Good for 2 yards on that play. It's going to bring up 2nd and 8, almost to the 2-minute mark here in the second quarter until halftime. 20-0 is still the score. Hutchinson is up on top with the ball here, looking to drive down the field on the 50-yard line. They're going to fake the handoff. They're going to roll it to the right. Got a wide open receiver at around the 40-yard line. He's going to fall down. That's good enough for a first down. Gain of about 10 on the play.
Complete to number 80, Jalen Roach, a 5'11", 175-pound receiver, a freshman out of Grayson, Georgia. Grayson High School, one that puts out some pretty stellar recruits. Wayne Gallman out of Clemson, Robert M. Candici out of Ole Miss, both guys that went on to the pros, Grayson alumni.
There's a handoff off the middle. Gets a pretty big hit there, but falls forward a little bit, and that's going to be good for about maybe 4 or 5 yards.
Inside handoff to Trey.
Going to bring up second down here for the Blue Dragons. We do have an injured player on the field for Iowa Central.
Officials timeout, injury.
We're going to take an official timeout here with the injured player on the field. Not completely sure who it is.
Yeah, we'll see if we can figure that out in just a minute here.
Clock is stopped at 1 minute and 29 seconds until the first half is over. Looks like he is going to give up on his own power. That's number 91 for Iowa Central.
91 for Iowa Central there will get up under his own power. Luke Scholl, the defensive lineman there, has had a pretty nice game in a reserve role here. He'll walk off under his own power. We'll see if he returns and hope he's able to return.
So it's going to be 2nd down and 6 here for the Blue Dragons. It's going to be on Iowa Central's 36-yard line. Here comes the snap. He's going to drop back, look towards his right. Quick pass. It's going to be complete. He's going to find some room. That's good enough for a first down. Finally knocked out of bounds. Nice play right there from Hutchinson to bring up the first down.
Nice pass, complete.
And it is going to, with the running out of bounds, it's going to stop the clock at 1 minute and 22 seconds. Definitely enough time for Hutchinson to get some more points up on the board. Comes a snap. They're going to hand the ball up the middle. He's going to get stopped right away.
Inside handoff to Trey.
Good stop right there from Iowa Central. That's going to bring up second down and a loss of a few yards.
Good job there getting penetration. Matt Hanson, 97, a 6'3", 295-pound sophomore out of Davie, Florida, and then 95, Marquise Burks as well.
There's going to be a timeout call by Hutchinson. That's their last timeout of the half. The clock's going to stop at 1 minute and 14 seconds here. What do you think Hutchinson's discussing in this timeout call right here?
You know, I think if you're Hutchinson, you're talking about what coverage you want to be in here. You don't want any miscommunications right here before the half. You want to keep everything in front of you, so you're stressing that. Hey, you know, if they catch it in front of us, coming back toward the football instead of running down the field and behind us. So I think that's probably the points of discussion here as to what coverage you want and to make sure that, you know, if you give up, you know, plays, you give them up, you know, short yardage in front of you, you make the first tackle, you make that tackle in bounds, you keep the clock running.
So Hutchinson trotting back up on the field. definitely enough time for Hutchinson to make something happen before the half is over. Still a lot of football left to be played.
And you don't want to turn it over if you're Hutchinson either.
No.
That's another thing you're talking about in the timeouts.
So 2nd and 12 here for Hutchinson. Gonna have a motion towards the right side and a little wheel route. They might look for him. Looks like they are. He is open. He does get the catch, and that's a touchdown in the corner of the end zone. Big time play right there from Hutchinson. That's gonna make it 26-0. Hutchinson strikes again. We'll see if they'll go for the 2-point conversion to make it 28-0. And it looks like they might.
Tyon Evans makes the catch on the wheel route out of the backfield there, and that's the second time that he scored here today. He's got a rushing touchdown to go along with that receiving touchdown, and a beautifully thrown ball by the quarterback, Mark Wright.
So that's the first passing touchdown of the day from Hutchinson. 26-0 here. They're going for the 2-point conversion to try to make it 28-0. He's going to pass, and he's towards the left side, complete on a little out route, and that's going to make it 28-0.
Wasn't even intended for the guy who caught it. That was intended.
So?
No, it was intended for the outside receiver. The slot guy was running kind of a similar route as they were going to cross, right? The slot guy, Roach, makes the catch. Johnny on the spot, right place, right time. Sometimes that happens. When you got it rolling, Austin, that's what happens. You know?
That's going to make it 28-0 for Hutchinson off the touchdown and the 2-point conversion. 1:08 left to go here in the second quarter and the half. Iowa Central's got just above a minute to strike and score here in this first half. They're going to have to maybe pull out all the stops here in this last drive, or maybe play a little bit conservative, not want to turn it over. What do you think they have to do?
I think that's what they'll do. I think you play as conservative as you can. Let's go to the halftime locker room. Let's talk about what we can do to make adjustments in the second half.
So here comes the kickoff. It is returnable. He's going to bring it a little bit out of the end zone. He's going to try to find some room. Gets pushed out of bounds eventually around the 19-yard line.
Christian Ford on the return there. About a 20-yard return for the Tritons.
So we'll see.
Will have to excuse me if I yawn on the broadcast here today.
That's okay.
Kind of tired. I was up late last night with the post-game coverage of high school football in and around the area for the playoffs, and got that together, and then got up early this morning and taped the high school football coaches show that I do here in the local market. So, had pre-taped interviews for that. So, been going at it with a short turnaround here.
I was just going to hand the ball off the middle, and it's going to be good for about 5 or 4 yards. It's going to bring up second down here, and they're going to let that clock run. They might just keep handing the ball off here until the half is over.
I think so. As I mentioned, I think you stay as conservative as you can, as vanilla as you can, and you just go into the halftime locker room here and talk about making adjustments.
Here comes the snap. They're going to run the ball again. He's going to go up the middle. Looks like it might be enough for a first down. They're going to be very close. And he is going to be just short of the first down. Going to bring up 3rd and 1 yard. 20 seconds left in this quarter. Probably going to run one more play. I'm actually going to call it a first down. They originally called 3rd down, but changed it to first.
And people in Hamilton County, Iowa, heard that it was a first down because our PA announcer here made sure to let everybody know.
He definitely likes to let us know that they got a first down. And the
clock, no doubt when Iowa Central has a first down.
And the clock is going to hit 00, and that's going to be the first half. Score at the half is going to be 28-0. Hutchinson Dragons on top of the Iowa Central Tritons. Big-time game so far from Hutchinson. What do you think Iowa Central is going to be talking about in that locker room at halftime to come out with a little bit more fire and to put some points up on the board?
Well, one of the big things I think they're going to have to talk about is special teams, punt coverage specifically.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the 4 touchdown drives for Hutchinson in the first half, 2 of them were on a short field because of big plays in the return game on a punt return. So Iowa Central's going to have to clean that up, get that kind of worked out, make sure that they're covering the punts a little better. And Tokum, the punter, he did such a good job a couple weeks ago against Independence. Well, today he's had a little trouble. Some of that's been the wind, but you have to adjust for that. And he's kind of kicked the ball low-line drives, and when you do that, you give the return men an opportunity. Also, you have to scheme around 2 return men here for Hutchinson because they play that kind of safe cover on the return there. They don't really put a lot of pressure on you and come after the punt, so you have to make that adjustment. So number 1, special team would be 1. Number 2 is offensive continuity. Let's try to find a series. If I'm the offensive coaching staff, I'm going to script the first series in the halftime locker room here, and I'm going to try to find some plays here, a script of plays that kind of are going to accentuate the strengths, hide the weaknesses here, and try to go in a different direction than the Tritons have in the first half here, and to try to maybe go a little more east-west and maybe spread Hutchinson out a little bit more, because we've learned you can't go right at them in the middle there with Bankston and Matthews and that very vaunted defensive line.
Do you think Iowa Central may have to change up their offensive plan a little bit from going a little bit away from the inside run and try to pass a little bit more?
Yeah, they're going to have to. And, you know, we knew coming in Arthur Brantley was going to play at quarterback here.
Yeah.
Today with DJ Irons being out hurt, and you know that's unfortunate for Iowa Central to be without DJ. But we knew that was going to kind of change the playbook. That was going to limit the playbook a little bit. Now you either have to make the decision here. You go with Arthur and you let him try to do some things that you haven't done in the first half, and some things that maybe are not what you would think is his skill set.
And, you know, we've seen Arthur be able to pass. We've seen the 4-touchdown pass performance later in the season, so we know that he can pass.
Well, he can, and you know, you're going to have to either show some confidence in him doing that here in the second half, or you're going to have to play Chance Gibbons more. You've got to make that decision in the halftime locker room here.
It's definitely going to be an interesting second half. And, you know, Iowa Central may not have to worry too much about, you know, coming out with this game. They might, you know, if anybody's potentially injured, you know, we're not going to see DJ Irons in the second half with him being hurt. And, you know, potentially being questionable, may be able to return. But, you know, even if Iowa Central doesn't come up on top today, they have the Graphic Edge Bowl to look forward to. And so
they do. You know, here in the second half, Austin, you know, you asked me for the adjustments. Bottom line is going to be they're going to need the Tritons are going to need a comeback of biblical proportions to win this game here. And so, you know, they may not be able to do that today. And you're right, you know, you want to put yourself in position to win the bowl game in December in the Graphic Edge Bowl here coming up. So you have that to kind of play for. So you do have to be kind of mindful of that going forward. Plus, you know, these guys who are sophomores who are going to be transferring out, you know, here in the next few weeks, they're going to be taking visits to their respective schools. You don't want to get a guy who's a sophomore who's got a chance to go on play at the next level here. You don't want to get him hurt in a game that is kind of lopsided either. So you have to be mindful of that.
Yeah, they definitely want to be at full health when Graphic Edge Bowl comes. And, you know, they've been struggling with injuries all year. They've had a, you know, unfortunate amount of injuries. It's affected them all year. And, you know, when the Graphic Edge Bowl comes around, they want to be at full strength, and when they want every single person that can play to play. So I definitely think they're going to be a little bit conservative, maybe with some of the play calling, not want to put their guys in certain situations that they don't have to be in dangerous situations.
I think that makes sense too, you know, especially if Hutchinson comes out here in the third quarter and scores another time or two. It really kind of widens the gap and puts this one away here. Looking at some scores around college football, Minnesota does still lead Penn State. Penn State has scored and now cuts the lead to 24-19 with 4 minutes to play in the third quarter. Ohio State all over Maryland at 52-0.
Wow.
In the third quarter.
You know, I've always wondered why Maryland is even in the Big Ten, because weren't they in the ACC before?
Yes,
and they transferred over to the Big Ten.
A long time.
They haven't done much of anything once they've been to the Big Ten. Seems like they've been kind of dominated.
They didn't do a ton in the ACC traditionally. They had pockets of success. Ralph Friedgen, when he was the head coach there in the early 2000s, back in the 80s with Boomer Esiason was the quarterback there. But
kind of same can be said for like the Rutgers in the Big Ten. Ever since the move there, I haven't seen them make any impact whatsoever. It just seems kind of like they're there.
That's a good point. Sometimes the grass looks greater on the other side than it really is. And sometimes you can move, and when you move certain places, sometimes schools don't take in effect how that affects the recruiting base.
Yeah.
We've seen that across a few other sports as well, and I think that's hurting Rutgers and Maryland there to, you're not going to recruit guys out of Big Ten country to go to Rutgers and Maryland, so that leaves you limited.
Yeah, so far east from the main Big Ten area.
That leaves you limited in that regard.
Yeah.
Also, TCU leads Baylor in the fourth quarter, 9-6, an upset brewing there. Baylor's undefeated, so that game going on as well in the fourth quarter. We'll see if Baylor can come back in that one. Florida's up on Vanderbilt, no surprise, 35-0, 5 minutes to play third quarter. SMU has their hands full coming off their first loss. They got their hands full against East Carolina, 38-34, and 5 minutes to play in the third quarter. Of course, coming up in about an hour, LSU and Alabama from T-Town.
That's going to be a great
1 versus 2 in terms of the AP poll, and 2 versus 3 in the playoff poll, and a lot on the line in that game. Austin, you got Bama or LSU today?
I've been contemplating this all week, and we've talked about it on the sports show on 88.1 The Point, the Monday night show, 7 to 8 o'clock. But I have to go with Alabama. There's just a certain thing in college football. It's just like in the NFL. When the Patriots are going up against somebody you don't know who to pick, you go with the Patriots. You go with Bill Belichick. And with Alabama, I got to go with Alabama versus LSU.
Yeah.
They've been in too many situations of big-time games, and they've shown up most of the time.
Are you concerned about Tua's ankle?
Yeah, I've thought about that a little bit, and I was like, maybe if Tua doesn't play, LSU has an advantage. But I look at it either way. I think it's going to be obviously a significant advantage if Alabama does play Tua. But even without Tua, I think Alabama has the discipline and the experience and the coaching with Nick Saban, and they're going to be able to overcome LSU.
And I do give them the edge in terms of coaching today. And I was concerned whether Coach Ed Orgeron for LSU, if the moment was too big for him. Now, I believe that LSU is the best team in the country, and I believe that they're going to beat Alabama today. And a couple of factors. One is just kind of the overall mojo factor of how well they're playing, but also the fact that I think they're due. They haven't beat Alabama since 2011.
Yeah.
And you may say, well, neither's nobody else really other than Clemson, but I think they're due. I really do.
I thought about that a little bit too, and I kind of thought the same thing, but in the opposite regard. I thought LSU was due for a loss because they've beaten so many big-time teams already this season. That's kind of why they are ranked. They are ranked above Alabama with the strength of schedule. Alabama hasn't played too many huge top teams this year. And, I think this is Alabama's first huge test, obviously, and I think they're going to show up to the case, and I think LSU is going to be put back on their heels a little bit.
Now, from an X and O standpoint, I like LSU's matchup with Alabama, too. The new up-tempo spread offense for LSU has been absolutely lights out. They've acclimated to it really quickly. Joe Burrow's been tremendous.
Yes.
I think that Joe Brady, the passing game coordinator at LSU, just 30 years old. I think Joe Brady is a guru and a genius, a prodigy of offensive play calling. And I think if you look traditionally over the last few years, teams that have given Alabama problems have been the teams that spread you out and then work to the space in the field and make those big, heavy linebacker. You know, Alabama's always got the guys that are big, heavy linebackers can really play north-south, but you want to make them play east-west. That's what Clemson did to them the last couple of years, you know, and it's won 2 of the last 3 against them. And I think that blueprint's been laid for LSU to follow, and I think that plays into their strength today. So I like LSU in a close ball game in Tuscaloosa today on the way to what I believe is going to be an LSU national championship. And I'm rooting for that, not because I'm an LSU fan. I'm rooting for that because I want to hear Ed Orgeron's post-game comments after Alabama or after the national championship or both, because I kind of find him and his speech to be probably the most interesting. Other than Dabo Sweeney would be a close second at Clemson because he gets so excited you never know what he's going to say. But Ed Orgeron, you know what he's going to say. You just don't know what he just said.
True, he did.
You almost
I've heard a
need
few
the
interviews
subtitles
from him.
on the bottom.
Yeah. It is going to be an interesting game. I'm very looking forward to it. Probably the biggest game of the regular season so far in college football. We are going to take a quick break before we come back with you for the second half of Iowa Central versus Hutchinson. The score right now, 28-0, Hutchinson over the Tritons. We're about 9 minutes and 45 seconds out. We'll return with you with about 2 minutes left in the break here in halftime to resume action here at Dodger Stadium. I'm Austin Johansson alongside Rob Jones. We'll be back with you very soon here on the Triton Nation Network. right, welcome everybody back to the Triton Nation Network. We're just getting the second half underway here. Comes the kickoff return, and it's going to be good to maybe get around the 14-yard line. Rob, what does Iowa Central got to do to get this game back on track?
I think the biggest thing is they need to come out and get some momentum going on this first drive of the second half. Try to get something going offensively and get a score on the board. And, you know, if you do that, then you kind of change the momentum of the game. But they got to get something going here on the offensive side. It's been a rough go in the first half.
Starting out the second half, first drive here for Iowa Central. Going to be on their own 14-yard line. Here comes the handoff. It's going to be up the middle. He's going to get stopped right away. Might be a loss of 1 or 2 yards on the carry.
I'm a little bit surprised that we are not seeing Chance Gibbons yet. We only saw him very briefly in the first half. I thought maybe they may go with Chance here in the second half to try to get something going.
Arthur Brantley is still at the quarterback position for this drive. 2nd and 11. Ball on the 13-yard line here for Iowa Central. Just getting the second half underway. 14 minutes and 15 seconds left on the clock here for the third quarter. Got a motion out towards the left side. Looking to pass. He's trying to keep it. He's going to throw it towards the left side. It's going to be incomplete, a little bit overthrown. That's going to bring up third down.
Looking for Jason Young there, couldn't find him. Pretty good job of getting out of trouble there for Arthur, just couldn't hook up, threw it kind of behind Jason Young.
That is going to bring up third down and 11 here for Iowa Central.
And Hutchinson will bring in a nickel package here, 5th defensive back in this obvious passing down situation.
Another motion on the play. Arthur's going to throw towards his right side on the motion. Breaks one tackle, tries to make a move. He's going to get enough for maybe 3 yards. That's going to bring up 4th down here for Iowa Central. 3 and out for their first drive for Iowa Central.
And that's, you know, obviously what you wanted to avoid there. You know, for Iowa Central, they're going to have to get something going on first down. You've got to get some gain on first down and make second down and then third down more manageable.
Tinsley and Coleman dropping back deep.
So Iowa Central's going to punt it away here on their own 18-yard line with it being 4th and 6. Here comes the snap. Punt's going to be kind of a line drive here. It's going to be a fair catch call by Hutchinson. They're going to catch it at around their own 46-yard line, it looks like. Looks like it's going to be on their 45.
I think that's a pretty smart decision by Mitchell Tinley there for Hutchinson not to try to do too much and just take the fair catch, put your offense in a solid position, going to get good starting field position at the 46, their own 46 here, so pretty smart decision by Tinsley.
So Hutchinson's first drive of the second half here on their own 46, 1st and 10. 13 minutes and 17 seconds left to go here in this third quarter. Pistol formation here from Hutchinson. Here comes a snap. He's going to throw it towards the outside. Gets the catch. He's going to run out of bounds. That's good for about 6 yards. 2nd down here for Hutchinson.
And they come out throwing on first down is kind of not a tendency for them. Hasn't been here today, but pretty good play call there to kind of change up and show something different. And in the passing game, we have seen them kind of target Mitchell Tinsley, kind of their top guy in terms of receiver.
2nd and 5 here. Comes a snap. They're going to hand the ball up the middle. It's got some room. Breaks one tackle. Breaks another. Still going. Finally gets taken down at around the 35-yard line. That's enough for a first down for the Blue Dragons.
First down carry there for Kendall Cross. He's a sophomore, 5'10", 205-pound running back out of Brunswick, Georgia.
Very successful run right there. That's going to bring up first down. And they're going to be on Iowa Central's 35-yard line here. Comes a snap. He's going to hand the ball up the middle. No, he's going to take it himself on the option play. Breaks one tackle. Trucks actually somebody. He's going to get inside the red zone. Good time run right there from Hutchinson. Big time first down.
He lowered the boom that time. Did Mark Wright running that football. Lowered the boom on 35. Elijah Frecking just trucked him and kept going.
that's going to bring up first down here in the red zone here for Hutchinson. Ball's going to be on the 18-yard line. Comes a snap, fake handoff, rolls out to his right, throws it, and almost complete towards the outside, but hit the ground incomplete. And that's going to bring up second down and 10 here for Hutchinson.
Now, one of the things we talked about of importance early on in the game, we talked about the percentages in the red zone. Red zone touchdown percentage being key. Hutchinson's been good all year with that. Iowa Central has struggled at times with that. Hutchinson's been good here today. Each time they've been in the red zone, they've come away with a touchdown, and we'll see if they're able to do that here.
So second down and 10 here. Clock stopped at 12 minutes and 3 seconds off the incomplete pass.
I should correct myself. 2 out of the 3 times, because the one time was a fourth down turnover on downs where they got stopped.
Going to be a little pitch here on the motion, and maybe a fumble here. They're kind of gathering around the ball. Stop for maybe 1 yard on the play. Looks like Hutchinson still has the ball, whether he fumbled it or not. That's going to bring up third down and 8.
Gave it to Mitchell Tinsley there coming around the end on the orbit motion there, a little jet sweep.
Hutchinson's going to be on Iowa Central's 16-yard line, 3rd and 8. Got 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Got a motion out towards the left side. He's going to drop back to pass, one-on-one coverage. He's going to complete the pass, and it's going to be a touchdown here for Hutchinson on the one-on-one coverage on the outside. Great passing, great catch. That's going to make the score 34-0. Hutchinson strikes first here in this second half.
Trey Petway on the touchdown catch, freshman, 6'2", 190-pound freshman receiver out of Prattville, Alabama, home of the Prattville Lions, a Alabama high school powerhouse.
So 34-0 with the extra point still to be kicked. Kick is going to be up and good for Hutchinson. That's going to make the score 35-0. Hutchinson over the Tritons. 11 minutes and 14 seconds left to go here in this third quarter alone. Iowa Central's down a pretty big hole right now. What do you think the mindset has to be for Iowa Central, knowing whether win or lose this game, they're going to the Graphic Edge Bowl. They're not going to lose any positioning at all with a loss here. What has got to be their mindset in this game, in the situation that they're in right now?
Well, I think you want, if you're Coach Montalto, the biggest thing you want is for your guys not to quit and to play hard to the final whistle. I think that's what you're looking for here. I think your mindset is here, what can I do as an individual to make a difference in this ball game and get us some positive momentum going. Probably not going to win the game, but you want to put yourself in a position to have some positives to look back on at the end. So I think that's your mindset here.
Big finishes for Triton women and men cross-country team.
So the time right now is 11-14. Or 11 and 14 minutes till the fourth quarter. Here comes the kickoff. And that one's going to get kicked out of bounds. And I'm actually going to be jumping off the commentary team as we have our athletic director joining us.
We have
here
a
today.
Mic over here for Coach Twait. Or you can put the headset over here, Coach Twait. We can get Kevin Twait on here, the athletic director and former head football coach here at Iowa Central. Coach Twait joins us here on the broadcast. Good to see you, Kevin. How are you today?
Well, I've been a lot better. This isn't, I feel bad for Jess and the guys. This hadn't gone the way we wanted to. This Hutchinson team, they're darn good, and we're not playing very well, obviously.
It's a bad combination.
Yeah, Jess won't make any excuses. It'd be nice if we had a QB, but we don't. Next guy in, and we're not playing very well. And Hutch kind of smacked us in the mouth. I thought we kind of had it when it was 14-0 for maybe a
little while,
12, 15-minute period of the game. I thought maybe we could come back and get 14-7, get some momentum. But their defense is pretty darn strong, and their running game's good. And my opinion, they're probably the best team in junior college football.
I think you may be right. They're certainly the best team that, we've seen, I believe, this year. have a ton of Division I, Power 5 kind of talent, especially at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. Bankston and company, and then the offensive lineman. I said earlier on the broadcast, Hutchinson has more 300-pounders than a sumo wrestling tournament, Coach.
Well,
that's what we see.
I think you're right, Rob. And you look at the length out there too. I mean, the height, the length,
yep.
and the width of. I mean, these guys are tall, athletic, can run. Their defense. They look like a Division I defensive team. I mean, they really do. There's a reason why 3 University of Arizona coaches are here today.
Right.
And they got their eyeball on a couple of our guys and about 7 of their guys, quite frankly. But the deal here is, I mean, to say we're going to come back and win the game is probably not very realistic. But now, it's gut check. It's your pride. And you look at college football, you play 13 games a year. This is one of the 12 days out of 365. Finish with pride as best you can and try and gain some momentum going to our bowl game 29 days from today in the Unidome.
And I think that's a great point. You want to play hard to the whistle. You want to make a play. I just said earlier, I think this is a situation where you have to, as an individual, take some responsibility. As the punt's blocked there by Hutchinson, and it'll get loose, they'll return it and score on the punt block for touchdown. And, kind of Murphy's Law, anything that can go wrong has went wrong. Jonathan White with the return there for the touchdown off the block punt. He's a sophomore running back, 5'10", 200-pounder out of Quitman, Georgia there. Punt return for touchdown of 10 yards for Jonathan White for a touchdown. And, Coach, I was just saying, I feel like you have to, if you're Iowa Central, you have to kind of put this individually on yourself and say, I've got to make a play here. I've got to make a difference to get us some sort of positives to take out of this ball game.
No doubt about it. Rob, down 42-0 with a lot of football game left, and now you're saying, can we somehow beat them by 14 from here on out and make this thing 42-14, 56-28, whatever the thing might be.
Try to get some sort of respectable outcome out of this instead of just rolling over and getting beat by 60 here on your home field.
No question about it.
Now, I will say this, the Tritons all year long have responded in these situations, and I expect them to here today
I
as
do
well.
too. We were down to Fort Scott 21-0. They were driving. And then I was nervous if they put that one in and got 28, it might get ugly. Well, today it's gotten ugly, and just let's just see what we're made of. Let's see, how much courage, fight, pride, whatever you want to term it. But I got a lot of faith in our guys as well. The thing so different about this sport, you don't play. Basketball plays 35 games. Wrestlers have 60 matches. Baseball plays 60. Here you only play 12, 13 games a year. So, they're all huge opportunities, and even though we're getting our tail beat, let's make the most of this last basically 25 minutes a game, 10 minutes of this third quarter, and the whole fourth quarter, see what we can't get put together.
Well, Coach, this is the silver lining to kind of this thunderstorm that we're in, proverbial thunderstorm today, is that you've got the bowl game coming up, the Graphic Edge Bowl for the Tritons after winning the ICCAC championship, and that's coming up no matter what you do here today. So that's the silver lining to take. And I wanted to ask you, I guess that you guys have been working, trying to figure out, who that opponent's going to be. Any word on that as of yet?
So much depends on this weekend. As an example, number 2 Lackawanna plays number 9 Georgia Military.
Okay.
And that would be, if Lackawanna wins, there would be number 2 heading into the final. They'll play the national title game.
Sure.
But if they would get beat, they'd fall a little bit. That would be a very attractive team. That travel's well coming. It's all about Georgia Military is a very attractive team. New Mexico Military, Hines, Kilgore, Texas, Hines, Mississippi. There's 5 or 6 very attractive teams. We kind of want to wait until after this weekend, the last weekend of the regular season. Let the dust settle. Let's see where everybody's sitting. Rankings come out Tuesday afternoon at 3 o'clock. So let's see where the national rankings are for college football, and let's really start making some sincere phone calls. And who does a great job with our commissioner, Tom McDonald, who's the commissioner of the ICCAC, kind of spearheads that. He'll contact myself, Coach Montalto. We'll provide a list of 6 to 8 names that we would feel good about, to compete against in the bowl game. And then, then he'll go get with their athletic directors, their head coaches, and see what we can put together.
Jaden Washington carries that one there, a pickup of about 4 on that one. Jaden, of course, coming off his kind of breakout game last week against Fort Scott, 145 yards on 24 carries and a touchdown.
Yeah, he had a great game. Turner was, running back from Michigan, was injured, was not able to play, and just fade ball. Safety comes over top, and I don't think it was illegal. I think it was a good shoulder-to-shoulder hit.
I think that's a football play, Coach.
And,
I really do.
It's part of the deal. It's
you could say that the receiver was maybe a little bit defenseless there, but I mean, what else you do? If you don't hit him, you let him make the catch. I'd
call that great coverage, and unfortunate for our receiver that he had to take that hit. But we've tamed down football so darn much. I'm not sure how you play defense sometimes anymore.
That is true. It's a lot different than your day and mine too, for that matter. And I think a good job of no call there by the officials.
Yeah.
They'll run a man on late with Hutchinson. Tokum will punt now. It's going to be caught now, and he looked like he signaled the fair catch.
Yeah, he did. And the referee was Johnny on the spot and called it. But both teams today, their fair catches have not been real deliberate. They've not been easy to detect. They're kind of half waving and half not. And I think both return guys need to do a little better job of being a little more specific. Am I fair catching this rascal or am I not?
Right, kind of letting you know. And I don't know that he knew, because I think he was kind of like had a little more room than he thought he did there, and kind of wanted to not have the fair catch after originally signaling for it. Hutchinson will take over here.
Well, we need a good stop on D. I mean, we need to say, you know what, let's muddy the water for them a little bit here. Let's do
maybe get a turnover here, get a short field going,
make
something
this thing
like
happen.
that. Some momentum.
Exactly right. We need it.
8:40 to play third quarter, 42-0. Hutchinson on top, Iowa Central. They'll keep it on the ground. Good job there. That's a tremendous job by 22, DeQuan Cross, stringing that play out, Coach. He did a good job setting the edge.
Did a heck of a job. And our outside backer came up, and our 5 technique, Burt, number 94, fought the reach block, kept his outside arm free as well. And so between the two of them, we really had that pinned in. And they haven't had a lot of 2nd and 12s, but thank goodness they have one now.
Yep, and DeQuan, plays that kind of hybrid linebacker spot. He's a guy that I think as he transfers out of Iowa Central, probably going to have to move to safety.
Size-wise.
Next level.
Yep.
They throw it down the field. It's complete for a first down there. Good pitch and catch. There's a late flag, I think maybe a late hit here. They get Trey Petway on the catch for the first down. Wright and Petway. Of course, Mark Wright still in at quarterback.
He seemed to. We had some soft coverage with the corner. Ran a skinny post route. We had a 2 or 3 yard cushion. He drilled a line shot right in there to him, and that's.
It's a hold there. Looked kind of late there, but they get 72. Stevie Young, a 6'4", 315-pound offensive tackle out of Fort Smith, Arkansas.
Now, if he's 315. I'm about 190, okay? He's a biscuit away from 350, not 315. You know that, and I know that. Holy cow. Look at that rascal out
there. I'm looking at what they're reporting there.
I know you are. Holy cow. Yeah,
it's hard to tell because they're so big beside him, too, as to how big he is, because he does look like the run of the litter over there.
Yes, he does.
Them big hog mollies up front, they complete a pass on the far
side. That's a nice tackle out there.
Good job in the open field.
Yeah.
Jared Brown there on the tackle, 27, did a nice job in the open field there.
Did a heck of a job using his hands, fighting off a stalk block by a receiver coming up there and making a play. Real nice. This is nice, 3rd and 20. Get him to turn the thing over here and see if we can't get a punt return or block a punt or do something positive.
Kevin, you being a former coach, there's not a whole lot in the old offensive playbook for 3rd and 20.
3rd and 20. Sometimes quick kick wasn't a bad thing. Get it down there.
That's a pretty good option.
Try and flip the
field.
Some
of the young folks don't know what you're talking about. That's where you drop back and punt on 3rd down. They'll run a draw now. Wright's going to have close to the first down now. He may be
about 2 yards short.
A yard or two short.
Be interesting to see if they go for it here or punt the darn thing.
Well, they did have something in the playbook.
Yes, they did. The old QB draw.
Quarterback draw, and picks up about 17 officially. 4th and 3 on 4th down. Yeah, they're going to punt.
They're going to punt that thing.
That's a smart move.
Yep.
I mean, no reason to risk it here.
No.
Up 42-0. Might as well punt it. We go under 6.5 now. Coach Kevin Twait joining me, the athletic director here, former head football coach at Iowa Central. And Coach, a lot of good things and positive things going on in the athletic department for Iowa Central right now.
Yeah, our women just won the national cross country meet about 20 minutes ago in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and so they're national champions, and what a great job Dee Brown, Nick Eckel do with that program. And our men got third, and the men did a wonderful job as well. So anytime your women get first in a national championship and your men get third, just tremendous.
Yeah.
2 weeks from today, they'll be in El Paso, Texas, running a half marathon. And so the cross country is around a 5-mile race. Now the half marathon obviously is 13.1 or 2, whatever it is, and so a lot of these same individuals plus a few more will go down to El Paso, Texas, and run in the half marathon. Then we got the bowl game coming up. Our women are off to 3-0 in basketball. They play actually at 4 o'clock this afternoon in Norfolk, Nebraska. Our men lost a tough one yesterday, 90-85, and they'll play at 6 o'clock in Norfolk, Nebraska. So we wrestle at Iowa State, and Iowa State Open tomorrow, our wrestling team. So there's lots of stuff going at the college.
And, of course, also the volleyball team had a solid year there as Brantley's pass is incomplete there, looking down the field, trying to go deep, which I don't think is necessarily a bad idea. Looking for Mario Wright there and can't hook up. But the volleyball team also with a nice year.
They had a great year. Sarah Horn, Coach of the Year again. She was back-to-back now Coach of the Year. We've played 18 volleyball matches in the last 2 years against conference opponents, and we're 17-1, and unfortunately did not go to the national tournament, got knocked out by a 4 seed, but the body of work that they did over the last 3 months of the season was just incredible, just tremendous. Nice inside zone play there to Washington, and he cracked in there for about 5-6 yard gain, and gets up a little bit gingerly. No, it's Kurt Taylor. He's had a bad ankle. In fact, he did not travel last week because of a bad ankle.
Right.
And
that's kind of what opened up the spot for Jaden Washington.
Exactly right
week.
for Washington. You bet.
I'm a little surprised to see Kurt on the field in this situation, given that he has had some injury issues, and you would kind of think at this point you want to kind of keep everybody healthy is one of the big objectives in this game going into the bowl game. But fortunately, he'll have 3-4 weeks here before the bowl game to try to heal up and be ready to go for that.
29 days. You bet. Well, the bowl game's Sunday, December the 8th. You do the math. We got 4 weeks in a day, and it's always an exciting time. Kind of what will happen. The coaches will take the first couple weeks and turn them over to Miguel Secor, our strength and conditioning coach, and we won't have much real football practice. It'll be mostly running, lifting, that kind of thing. Coaches will be in all the high schools in our state, blanket the state for a couple weeks, recruiting. And then, of course, the championship game, semifinals this coming weekend in the Unidome in Cedar Falls. Championship games is the final weekend. And then with about 2 weeks left, then we'll start getting 3 or 4 practices a week, getting ready, and we'll go to Iowa State and practice in their indoor thing a couple times. We'll go to the Unidome and rent that and practice in Cedar Falls a couple times, get used to it's a little bit different judging a punt and a kick and throwing and catching the ball in the dome, but it's exciting.
And all that too, Coach, the players will take trips to prospective, universities that they may transfer as well and take visits there.
It's it's a neat 4-week time. It's a neat 4-week time where coaches go out recruiting. The players on campus are getting recruited, and they're taking their trips, but they're also training with the speed, agility, quickness, and that. And the nice thing is, for a couple weeks, you don't hit anybody. You're saving your shoulders, you're saving your legs, and then starting with a couple weeks before game time, you'll start getting the helmet, shoulder pads back out and running into each other a little bit.
Third down carry there for a yard by Grant Walker on the inside handoff, brings up 4th and 3, and Tokum will be back to punt, standing in the shadow of his own goal line. Back to receive. They'll have the 2-man receiving core here, Colvin and Tinsley. We've seen Colvin make some big plays here. They're going to kick it to Tinsley, kick away from Colvin. Tinsley's going to take it at the 50.
Nice tackle.
Dragged down now at about the 42-yard line. Good job on the coverage there. An open field tackle by Tristan Waugh, a freshman defensive lineman, 6'1", 240 out of Fairfield, Iowa, making a nice play on the coverage.
You think about a D lineman making that play in the open field against somebody like Tinsley. That's pretty darn good football play.
It is. That's pretty good athletic play, good display of athleticism from Waugh there. 42-yard line now. Hutchinson will take over. It seems like they've been on this side of the 50 all day long, Coach.
Their defense, we've not been able to move the ball very well. We're punting against the wind, and they've always started with a short field. And after a while, that's hard on the old defense now.
They'll send a man in motion. They'll swing it out to him on the little screen pass. They'll go to the outside there.
Just our outside backer there really needed to fight over top of the block. They had a slot back coming in to pin him inside. If he fights over top, our inside backer makes that play for probably about a 3-yard gain, and not able to do that, and he gets about 8 out of it. Just simple things like that.
If you just joined us here, 4.5 to play, third quarter. Triton's trail 42-0 to the Hutchinson Blue Dragons, number 6 team in the nation here. Maybe the most talented team in the country before it's all over and done with. Second down now, and Wright's going to fire far side. He's got a man caught. Good job, open field tackle there from the Tritons. 27 on the play there.
Yeah,
P.J. Brown.
I saw a penalty marker come in later.
There is a late flag. We'll see what they give us
about
here when they sort that out.
I enjoyed your show this morning, Rob. Did a great job again. I listened to you in the morning on Saturdays. Of course, being a football buff, I like you getting comments from around the country, and it's really fun. What a big weekend, you know. And right before I came up, it was Minnesota 24, Penn State 19, heading into quarter number 4.
It really was. You know, I think that Minnesota's done a pretty good job of acquitting themselves.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of questions about whether they were for real or not, and I think they've kind of proven that they are. What a job. They're up 31-19 now with 3:50 to play, so they're in a good spot. And what a job P.J. Fleck, their head coach, has done in short time. Barring some sort of miracle run by Baylor here in undefeated season, you know, P.J. Fleck's on that short list of National Coach of the Year candidates.
No question about that. He's done a super job. And their strength coach for football, and their coach Fleck, is a former player of ours, Ben Schumacher. Ben played here for me, did a great job, then played at Concordia University in St. Paul, Minnesota, and he's their strength coach for football. And they're rowing the boat.
That ball being forced half the distance at the end of the run, automatic first down.
They're going to get A.J. Brown for unnecessary roughness here, so Hutchinson will take it there. Now, I'm not sure. I couldn't really see on that side of the field what he did. To me, it looked like he made a pretty good open field tackle.
I thought he did too. I'm not sure what the deal was, because there was no targeting, was there, Rob, on that?
No, it wasn't targeting. It was just an unnecessary roughness play. May have been something that happened after the play that we couldn't see from that angle. That's going to break it now into the red zone for Hutchinson. Going to bring it up to the 15-yard line. They'll operate out of the gun. Wright will look, and he'll find a man. It's 80. Roach has it, makes a man miss there. And a good job of rallying to the football. Several Tritons in there to make the stop, including 13 there. Jerron Barber, as well as Lewis in there as well. Good job defensively of rallying to the football. The Tritons guys are still playing hard here, Coach.
I mean, they got a lot of pride. They're not going to lay down and die. We're ranked 19th in the nation. We're going to a bowl game, and we're obviously we're going to lose today. But I'm proud of them. They're fighting for every inch, and they're doing a good job.
By
great
Brant
hit,
Casey.
Yeah, great hit by Casey there.
Casey coming north-south there and hitting Aaron Collins and knocking him down after a gain of 1. Collins had some room, and Casey came and closed that gap.
Sure did. He's been a great addition to our squad. Played at one of the Arizona community colleges last year that dropped football. 7 of them dropped football last year. And transferred here a semester and been a great addition for us. Wonderful young man, great leader.
Hutchinson will run in a man, another offensive lineman. They've got a tremendous offensive line and a good rotation. You know, they run in another guy there, 67, Eric Harris out of Pensacola, Florida, 295-pounder. They go straight up the middle with Collins.
This one power to the left, pull the backside guard, and now they're going to be probably fourth and I'd say about 1 or 2. And let's see if we can't bowl our neck a little bit here and find a way to turn them back.
And at least hold them here to 3 if they go field goal.
I think they're going to line up and try to bloody the nose.
They may do it. You know, they kind of did. They went for it earlier in the game in the same type of situation. So here we go on 4th and 3. They can get a first down without scoring here. 4th and 3 from the 7.
They've been very successful. We're playing off man and throwing some shorter outs and slants and stuff down here. And
I think you want to come
we
up
walk
and press
up
a
and
little bit here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we walk up late and do it, but maybe not. Maybe we're going to play off, and I get nervous about a little 3 or 4 yard out or slant. I think they delay a game on them. This might force their hand a little bit to kick the thing.
Delay game, offense, number 3. Penalties, 5 yards. Remains, 4th down.
Wonder if Coach Rhodes going to send that P field goal unit in, or if he's going to stay with that offense. Looks like PAT. Here we go.
Stay. No, here we go.
No. I think they're going offensive personnel.
Yep. We'll keep the offense on the field. Change the personnel group
They got
here.
Doubles each way.
Yep.
Two
four
splits each
receivers,
way,
which they don't do a lot of. So
back offset to the quarterback's right. See if Coach Conley.
Right's going to drop now. 3-step drop, looking for a man.
Nope.
Nowhere to go with it. Incomplete. Good coverage out there on the outside on kind of a island was 14 for Iowa Central there. 14 being Altrell Durr, a 5'9", 180-pound sophomore defensive back out of Southeast Polk High
Good coverage
School.
there. I mean, we tightened her down a little bit.
Yep.
And, you know, their quarterback took quite a shot there right as the ball let go. Nice.
And, you know, I almost don't understand, Coach, why your starting quarterback would be in with a 40-point lead here late in the second half. You know, and that's one of those things where, you know, if he is hurt, it's certainly an unfortunate break, you know, in a situation like this.
It is. Yeah, you do. You wonder why, quite frankly, why if you got your starting 22, why any of them are in at this point. I mean, because their backups aren't too bad, and whether you win 42-0 or 42-14 or 56-0, mission accomplished. I mean,
you win the game.
You win the game, and you go home and you try and save on a few bodies, but you know.
And you hope that you get some help ahead of you, being ranked 6, and maybe some people get upset here today, and you're able to sneak your way into the championship game or somewhere in that top 5.
Looks like he's going to be all right. He got his bell rung just
walking
a little bit.
Off under his own power. Took a hard hit after as he threw the ball there.
We got 2 backs in the game here. We haven't done a lot of that today. And I know one thing. I've been in this situation too many times when I coach. Sometimes the best thing is you run the thing, get the heck out of here as fast as you can. You know, I mean, I learned a long time ago when you throw an incomplete pass, the clock does stop.
It does. You know, Coach, you're kind of from the era. There's Grant Walker with a nice carry. Going to be just a little short, about a yard short of the
nice
first
run.
down.
Good push up front. Nice 9-yard play. Split zone play. Back on the left comes through and kicks out the backside end. Back on the right
and
comes
as
through
you
the
said,
left.
you want to keep it going, keep the ball on the ground, clock churning. They look to the outside, and what an interception.
Wow.
What a play.
That reminded me of old Rashad Whitty. Last home game had a great one. That jersey number 3 on the defensive number 3. I think they have an offense and a defensive number 3.
Jacorian Bennett picks that one off, number 3. He's a sophomore defensive back, 6 foot, 195-pounder out of Mobile, Alabama. And, Coach, you and I both know that down there in that part of the country, that kind of athleticism that he just put on display
awfully
is
prevalent. That was a great play. I mean, that was
amazing.
Play.
I mean,
it was going to be a back shoulder fade, and he read it and made a great break on it and put his foot in the ground and went up and snared it way better than most receivers would do.
Yeah.
Now they got the short
They used
field.
to say defensive backs play defensive back because they're receivers that can't
right.
catch.
They can't catch the ball.
But not in that case for Jacorian Bennett. First down now for Hutchinson. They're going to keep it on the ground here with Evans and run it up the middle there. He'll get a couple.
I tell you, I'm proud of our defense, though. I mean, they've been
in tough situations.
This third quarter, it's been short field, and they've scored 14 points. But we've bowed our neck down there a couple times and held them too. You know, really have.
As we'll go under 35 seconds here in the third quarter with Hutchinson, the number 6 team in the country, up 42-0 on Iowa Central. You know, Hutchinson has certainly looked a part here of that ranking. They'll drop the throw now. Well, Wright, who's back in the game, looking for a man and got him. A touchdown pass to Trey Petway. His
double move there. He went about 12 yards vertical, 3 steps to the corner, and flipped the hips of our defensive corner, then planted, went to the post, and thrown on time. And it was a great route. It was a double move, and you had to have lots of time to throw a double move, and credit their offensive line for giving him that time.
The offensive line's so big and so talented up front that they have given him all the time he's needed. They've opened up holes in the run game. They've really controlled the game. And a tremendous throw from Wright there, right on the money. You know, he's better at throwing the ball down the field than he is to throw the short route.
You're darn right. I bet his percentage on 15 to 30-yard passes better than the 0 to 10. I mean, it probably is. Amazing. Yeah,
extra points up and good, 49-0 now, as Trey Petway has his second touchdown catch of the day. And Mark Wright now has 3 touchdown passes and 1 running. He's accounted for 4 total at quarterback for Hutchinson here. So a lot of guys for Hutchinson, you know, Coach, unfortunately for Iowa Central, a lot of guys for Hutchinson kind of setting probably some personal best here today. And you always want to avoid that. Don't want to be on the business end of that deal.
No, that's it's tough sledding out here for us today. There's no doubt about it. And you know, I'm just hoping we can play our hearts out for the last basically quarter
here.
and do what we can and come out of here unscathed health-wise.
Yeah,
and then you know, get ourselves charged up, refocused, ready for a great effort in a bowl game.
Tritons
we're going to be sitting 6-6, and we'll probably fall out of the national rankings, but if we win a bowl game, get into that top 20 at the end of the year for recruiting.
You know, 6-6 against eight ranked teams in 12 weeks.
Exactly right.
You know, folks need to put that, you know, in perspective too. It's a short pooch kick, and that'll be a fair catch made by Ford and around the 28-yard line where Iowa Central will go to work here with the football. Probably run one play here. It'll be a timeout. Probably run a play to end the third quarter.
Receiving team, the ball be placed where the ball was caught. First down, Iowa Central.
We'll get into the fourth quarter here.
The white hat there was my favorite receiver in college. I was a quarterback in college, and the white hat was a slot receiver.
Oh, wow.
Brad
How about
Bunning.
that?
Yeah, does a good job with this crew. Yep, they do a good job. We had them for our Coffeyville game at home, too, early in the year, back in early September.
Right. Remember that game. Good performance that day by the Tritons. Beat Coffeyville. Brantley has it there, and he hands it off to Walker on the inside. Walker running hard, breaks a tackle, and then nowhere to go on the second tackle, taken down there by number 89 for Hutchinson there, 89 being Lewis Wallace, 6'2", 290-pound sophomore defensive lineman out of Sylvania, Georgia. And that'll bring us to the end of the third quarter. Hutchinson up 49-0 on Iowa Central here on the Triton Nation Network. As we go into the fourth quarter, I'm Rob Jones. Kevin Twait, the athletic director here for Iowa Central, as well as the former head football coach. And Coach, what's going on around the athletic department coming up here soon?
Well, our wrestling team is always top 1, 2, or 3 in the country, and they're in Ames tomorrow at Iowa State, and they'll have Iowa State's varsity there. It's an open tournament, so we'll bring all of our guys. Iowa State will have their whole team. I think there's 14 teams. Virginia Tech will be there. They'll have a lot of Iowa kids will be there. South Dakota State will be there. I mean, it's a big-time tournament. They're wrestling tomorrow. We've got our swim team tonight over in Morningside is in swim, and they've done a great job. Of course, the half marathon coming up in 2 weeks. Basketball, we have November 2 weeks from last night and 2 weeks from today, the Great Western Dining Classic. We'll have 3 women's teams, 3 men's teams in here for a Friday, Saturday doubleheader in basketball. So there's always something going with 31 sports.
Absolutely.
Our rugby team is waiting for what invitation they're going to get to the national tournament. So there's stuff going all the time.
Absolutely. Here's the Tritons will open the fourth quarter with the ball, and they'll hand it off here on second down. They go inside on the handoff. Not been a lot going on the inside there. It's a credit to how good Hutchinson is defensively there at that D tackle spot.
Well, Rob, I hate to exit you with 49-0, but I've got some other stuff I have to get to, and we'll turn it back over. But thanks for all you do to add to our telecast, and thanks to the guy on my left who's going to take my spot. Great job, and hey, we're going to put this one put this in the rearview mirror very fast and get ready for a great bowl opportunity, okay?
Good to see you, Coach. And before you go, I'm pleased to announce that I will be working some basketball dates for you guys, home conference games.
Our home conference, men and women doubleheaders, will have Rob assisting, and then you add a lot to our streaming and into the coverage, and we sure appreciate it.
I appreciate that, and thank you guys for having me.
You bet.
And looking forward to that during the basketball season. As now 3 and out for Iowa Central on this possession, and they'll punt it away here as my broadcast partner Austin Johansson comes back, and we say farewell there to Coach Troit. Appreciate Coach Troit joining the broadcast. Always good to catch up with him, the athletic director here at Iowa Central. And Austin, it's been that third quarter was all Hutchinson here as Iowa Central takes the timeout.
Yeah, definitely. Hutchinson, just, from my view back there watching it, just seemed like Hutchinson's in a mood right now where it seems like nothing can stop them. The energy on the sidelines so much different than it was in the first half. They're all happy. They kind of know the game's over. They're celebrating I believe the backup quarterback that came in for Hutchinson. I think that's probably one of his first touchdowns that he threw all year, because they were very excited when he finally got that throw. So the energy's just...
Talking about Corey Lane there, number 9, who came in and had that last touchdown pass to Trey Petway.
Yeah, the energy's just kind of shifted towards Hutchinson, significantly, and Iowa Central is just kind of in a hole right now. And, I think the mindset right now is to kind of get out of that, get some positive things going on the offensive side, make some defensive stops, have a little bit of confidence going in to the end of the game, and feel confident in your ability to make some stuff happen.
Pretty good punt there from Tokum. It's going to be fielded now and returned by Tinsley.
On return, brought down around the 44-yard line.
It's going to be 49-0 right now for the Blue Dragons ahead of the Iowa Central Tritons. 14 minutes and 13 seconds left to go here in this game in the fourth quarter. Hutchinson's going to take the ball at their own 45-yard line.
They've been in good field position all day.
Definitely.
Either starting right on their side of the 50 or in Triton territory all day long.
So they're going to stick with their backup quarterback here for Hutchinson. He went off the field with an injury. I saw them working with him. They still are working with him down on the sideline here, trying to make sure he is okay. Comes the snap. He's going to hand the ball off the middle, has some room. That's going to be good for about 6 or so yards. It's going to bring up second down.
Corey Lane in at quarterback for Hutchinson here. He's going to probably finish this one off. He's a 6-foot, 215-pound sophomore QB out of Oglethorpe, Georgia.
It's going to bring up 2nd and 5 here for Hutchinson, excuse me. They're going to be on the 50-yard line. I'm going to hand the ball off, maybe. Nope, they're going to fake the handoff and throw it towards the outside. Got hit as the catch was coming, incomplete. That's going to bring up third down.
Good coverage on that far side there by 14. McKinstry with a good job there.
I think your friends down in Clemson are going to be very happy with the Penn State game, that Penn State actually falls to their opponent,
Minnesota here.
They beat them 31-26 is the final score, and Penn State gets their first loss of the year. That's going to drop them definitely out of the playoff top rankings. At number 4 is where they currently sit. Comes the snap. He's going to throw it to his right side, far to the right. It's going to be incomplete. That's going to bring up 4th down here for Hutchinson. And, if Clemson does win today, they should jump right up into that top 4 spot in the playoff rankings.
I'll credit my brother, which I don't do a lot, but my brother has said all year long that he thought Penn State was a bit of a paper tiger, so to speak, and kind of a product of the schedule a little bit. And, and a lot of people thought Minnesota was too, and I didn't know. I was leaving it up to today to kind of decide that. But, Penn State kind of does what they do. They always seem to falter in a key spot like that. Like I told Clemson fans, don't worry, just win your games and you will be there. And
if they keep,
lo and behold, less than a week later,
exactly,
wouldn't you know who won the pony?
And, you know, we were talking a little bit earlier about the LSU-Alabama game coming up, and we said number 1 versus number 2 matchup. But, you know, actually with the new rankings out, it's actually going to be number 2 versus number 3 with Ohio State at the top spot now. I wasn't
in
aware
terms of the playoff rankings, 1 and 2 in the AP. And 2 and 3
you know, but when you pull up ESPN, though, and you look at the rankings, they have Ohio State as number 1. So it's kind of looked like they're kind of going off the playoff rankings as the top kind of ranking.
Yeah, they are.
So, but it just depends, I guess, the way you look at it.
You know.
But still going to be a great matchup regardless.
And you know, and it's not even really, none of that's going to even matter.
Yeah.
As long as you finish in the top 4, none of that even matters, you know.
I guess you could argue, you know, certain matchups for certain spots, you know, if your top spot, you get 4 seed. But, you know, in that 2 and 3 spot, you're going to play each other anyway.
Well, here's the thing. And if you're in the top 4, anybody in the top 4 is a quality opponent.
Yeah.
And you're playing on a neutral field anyway. So it's not like you're going to have home field advantage. So, I mean, you really, you know, just finish in the top 4 and none of that matters. Kind of goes. Then it becomes who's better on that day and who's a better matchup.
Yeah, you know, you're competing for a national championship, too. You shouldn't be worried about your opponent. You're competing to be the top team, and if you're the top team, you should be able to beat anybody. So it really doesn't depend on who you play. If you're looking at matchups, that's not really an excuse to not win the national championship.
And, you know, there's a contingent of people that are haters of the SEC, and those haters
definitely
are going to not like the fact that LSU or Alabama could lose today and still possibly get their way into the playoffs.
You know, that's how I see it happening. You know, either one of these two teams, if they take a loss today and they win out, I see them probably jumping back in the top 4. You know, if LSU loses today, I see them probably dropping to maybe 5th or 6th. But if they win out, they're probably going to jump back in. Same for Alabama. So we're probably going to see these two teams in the top 4 anyway.
Oddly enough, that the time that happened before where Alabama did not win the division, they had that loss to Auburn, and then Auburn lost in the SEC championship to Georgia. It worked out in Alabama's favor to where they got in and didn't have to play in the SEC championship game, which actually helped them have an extra week to get healthy. So.
And, you know, that's going to be an interesting situation, too, because LSU and Alabama are on the same side in the SEC conference, so they are able to play each other in the SEC championship,
then,
so it can't come down to that.
Georgia, who knows? Although I don't think Georgia's good enough to beat Alabama or LSU, but that's just my opinion.
Hutchinson on the kickoff return. Finds some room towards the outside. Dodges one tackle. Nice move there. Still finding room. Got one player to beat, and that looks like the punter. He's going to maybe get past him.
What an open field tackle by Tokum, the punter.
Great tackle right there. Gets to the legs. Textbook right there. Hutchinson player a little bit disappointed. He thought he was going to be able to take that one to the house with the punter to beat, but he's down by around the 9-yard line.
When he comes over, if I'm the coach, I'm going to say, now that was a tremendous, tremendous return. Next time you get a punter one-on-one like that, lower the shoulder and run him over. Just lower the shoulder. What are you doing trying to dance?
Yeah, he tried to be a little shifty.
Shoestring tackles you.
Either way, regardless, they are going to have a tremendous field position inside the red zone, lining up on the 9-yard line. 1st and goal for Hutchinson here. Score being
add on here.
Yeah, score being 49-0. Hutchinson Dragons, Blue Dragons, I should say, up on top. Comes a snap. They're going to hand the ball off up the middle. Doesn't find a lot of room. Going to get stuffed for maybe about 1 or 2 yards. That's going to bring up 2nd down and goal.
Now, it would be interesting. We saw Jonathan White, the running back, on the carry. Be interesting if they stay with him here and he's able to punch one in, because he had the punt return, the punt block return for a touchdown. So he would have then a score on defense and offense. And I'm not sure how many times that's happened in JUCO football. It's very rare in college football for a guy to score in those 2 regards. By the way, statistical data says in college football, 83% of the time, if you block a kick and return it for touchdown, you give yourself an 83% better chance to win the game.
Oh, wow. Here comes the handoff. It's going to maybe be good for about 1 yard. It's going to bring up 3rd and goal here for the Blue Dragons. Got just above 10 minutes to go here in this 4th quarter.
Given one of the play, brings up 3rd and goal from the 6.
3rd and goal here for Hutchinson. Probably expecting run. Comes the snap. They are going to hand the ball off towards the left side. A lot of Iowa Central players around him. He's going to get tackled and shoved out of bounds at around the 4-yard line. That's going to bring up 4th down here for Hutchinson. Let's see if they'll go for a field goal or maybe try to go for it here.
Yeah, you know, they've left the offense on the field each time they've been in this situation today, so we'll see what they do here.
They're definitely confident in their offensive
they
ability.
Are, and well, they should be. They've hung half 100 here right at it.
Yeah. Looks like the offense is going to stay up on the field. Still 4th and 6 to go towards the end zone, being 4th and goal. Comes a snap. They're going to fake the handoff, and a pretty good play right there, and a nice catch off the play action. Tight end disguised as a blocker, broke off towards the left side and got the touchdown. That's going to make it 55-0 with the extra point still on the way.
Stacy Marshall touchdown catch there.
It was a very good play call.
It was a nice little slip on the handoff and then throw it over top there. Kind of a modified version of the fake fullback dive and then throw over top the tight end.
Yeah.
Stacy Marshall, the tight end, 6'6", 250 out of Montgomery, Alabama, a sophomore there on the catch. And Kari Lane, the quarterback now, the backup QB for Hutchinson with 2 touchdown passes here today.
And the extra point is good, so that's going to make it 56-0 here for the Hutchinson Blue Dragons up top over the Iowa Central Tritons.
And I'm running out of room to write down the scoring summary here at 56-0. So I'll need the Tritons to get some stops here.
A little bit.
And let's everybody run the football and let's go home here. You know, get out of Dodge, so to speak, and go home here.
9 minutes and 5 seconds left to go here in the game, being at the 4th quarter. Do you think Iowa Central on offense should just pull out all the stops, go for it all, home run type plays, or should they play more conservative and kind of just let this game play out?
You know, I think you work on stuff that you might want to work on for the bowl game and stuff that maybe you've had some trouble with. You work on some stuff in these situations. I like to take – I've always thought you take these situations to kind of learn and try to work on things. And so maybe they work on some things they've had some trouble with.
Hutchinson get about ready to kick off here. It's a nice kick, very returnable. He's just going to fair catch that. Oh, he almost bobbled it a little bit. Or he did bobble it, but almost muffed it. And he's going to fair catch that. They're going to line up at the 25-yard line.
Let's take a look at the college football scoreboard. Texas Tech defeats West Virginia 38-17. Florida State 38-31 over Boston College. Purdue squeaks out one over Northwestern at 24-22. Western Kentucky all over Arkansas 45-19. Chad Morris, the head coach at Arkansas, should probably hire a real estate agent about now. Minnesota 31, Penn State 26. Ohio State may score 100. They're up 73-14 in the 4th. And TCU defeats Baylor in overtime.
Oh, Baylor goes down.
So 2 undefeateds fall.
Nice pass completed towards the left side. That was enough for a first down for Iowa Central.
Alabama and LSU getting ready to kick things off. Florida skunks Vanderbilt 56-0, and SMU 59-51 over East Carolina there. So that's your look at the scoreboard. Iowa and Wisconsin coming up at 3. And also Iowa State on the road, your Cyclones in Norman, a 7 o'clock kickoff for that.
I might be able to watch the end of that game. I have work tonight, so if I'm lucky, I can get off at 9 and watch the end of the half.
There you go.
The second half.
And hopefully, if you're even luckier, the Cyclones will still be in the game. It'll be in contention at 9 o'clock.
I'm praying. Handoff towards the left side. Nice, decent run. Still fighting for yards. Going to eventually get taken down.
And they've got a chance if the offense is clicking. You know, Oklahoma's not the best defensive football team in the world. So
you know, Brock Purdy's got to show out.
And I think the
really
run
is on
game's
him.
big because you look at the Oklahoma loss to Kansas State, and the run game for Kansas State was big. So I think Breece Hall is going to be a major factor. He's really come on for Iowa State.
Yeah, he's emerged. I'm hoping he's someone the same as what David Montgomery was for us last year, with him doing his thing in Chicago.
Washington on a carry.
Now with the Bears.
Inside handoff to Washington there, nothing doing.
Also, don't forget about our star wide receiver last year, Hakeem Butler. He's on IR right now. He had a season-ending injury before the season even started for the Arizona Cardinals. And I have a feeling with Kyler Murray there and the length that he has and the red zone threat that he has, he could add some special ability to that team. So I'm looking forward to him getting healthy.
Agree with you there. There's Washington on the carry again, gets stacked up, gets about a yard here on 4th and 2. So let's see if he gets it there. He might have got enough for the first down.
He might have. I think they are going to call a first down.
Okay, they will say he got the first down. Yep, and there's the confirmation from the PA announcer.
Ball's going to line up on the 48-yard line here for Iowa Central of Hutchinson's territory.
56-0 Hutchinson on top here. Under 7 minutes to play in the game.
Comes a snap. Oh, maybe a little bit of a jump from the line. No call. Just a little dump pass towards the right side. Caught. Gets taken down for about maybe a loss of a yard.
He was almost, that tackle kind of resembled a professional wrestling move a little bit. A little bit of a modified brain buster there on the tackle.
And, you know, actually I should mention this with mentioning wrestling in WWE. Cain Velasquez is now signed with WWE. He did a match with Brock Lesnar. He is actually an alumni here from Iowa Central. He wrestled here for a year.
Really? I had no idea.
I didn't know that either. I looked him up and I saw Iowa Central alumni for Cain Velasquez. Huh. Yeah, he wrestled here for 1 year, transferred, I believe, to Arizona State. Wrestled there and eventually became a huge UFC star and beat Brock Lesnar for the heavyweight championship.
The cradle of greatness here in Iowa Central.
And of course, John Jones being an alumni here, the great UFC fighter John Jones. He's a former alumni here at Iowa Central. So 2 huge UFC stars from Iowa Central.
We have to talk to Coach Kevin Twade about starting an MMA program on campus.
I don't think they allow that for college. It's considered too dangerous.
If you walk John Jones and Cain Velasquez up to somebody, they're going to allow them guys about what they want to be allowed.
True.
There, I'm not going to be the one that tells them no. I'll tell you that.
Those are some scary dudes right there. There's an injury on the field here for Hutchinson. Clock is stopped at 6 minutes and 5 seconds left here in this fourth quarter.
The big man will come off his own power here. Charles Johnson, 99. The 6'4", 335-pound defensive lineman, a sophomore out of Huntersville, North Carolina.
So it's going to bring up 3rd down and 6 here for Iowa Central on Hutchinson's 44-yard line. Got some motion here. Going to hand the ball off. Breaks 1 tackle in the backfield and inches forward to maybe gain a yard. And that's going to bring up 4th down.
Grant Walker on the carry.
Do you expect Iowa Central to go for it here on 4th down? It looks like it.
I say you might as well go for it.
Yeah.
Got nothing else to lose at this point. And it would be nice, to at least get on the board here before the end of the game. So to do that, you've got to try to score here.
So they are going to go for it here with no gain on that last play, bringing up 4th and 6.
They're going to show and blitz as Hutchinson.
Yep, a lot of pressure, avoids 1 tackle. Arthur's going to throw it deep towards the end zone. A little bit of contact, no call.
I thought so too.
On the play. It's going to be incomplete towards the corner of the end zone. That's going to be turnover on downs.
I'm surprised we didn't see pass interference there because I think Jason Young had an opportunity there if he doesn't get bumped down.
You could kind of hear the contact a little bit too from the field, but no call on the play. It's going to be turnover on downs.
I know the officials in this situation don't want to call much. They want to keep the game going and let's get out of here kind of deal. But in that situation, I believe that they let go what should have been a pass interference call there.
Either way, Hutchinson is going to take the ball over on downs on their own 44-yard line. Comes the handoff. Pushed forward a little bit here, still going. Oh, I think the ball dropped. I saw it bounce on the ground. There might have been a fumble. Iowa Central does say they have it. Of course, every team likes to say that.
Yeah, we'll see the official.
And they are going to call it Iowa Central's way.
Yep.
Iowa Central recovers the fumble off of a big push off the Hutchinson carry. They're going to take the ball over on, looks like their own 47-yard line, I want to say. Big turnover on downs right there for Iowa Central.
Yeah, it's a big break there for Iowa Central. Now, they kind of get the ball back pretty much the exact same spot where they turned it over on down, so we'll see how that works out for them here.
Looks like they are going to put the ball on the 48-yard line for Iowa Central. They're going to take the ball here on their own 48-yard line, I should say. 5 minutes to go here in this fourth quarter. Let's see if Iowa Central can put together a drive to put some points on the board.
On the recovery for the Tritons.
Arthur Brantley's going to take that keep and get stuffed before he crosses the line of
And I
scrimmage.
think Arthur sprained his ankle or maybe tweaked the knee there. He tried to plant and change directions.
Yeah.
And couldn't really do so after trying to plant on the right leg. We'll see if he stays in or comes out of the ball game here.
He looks a little shaken up here. He's still trying to walk it off. He is going to play the next
Credit
play.
to him. Showing a lot of guts and a lot of toughness there.
2nd and 14 here. They're going to hand the ball off. Fighting for some yards. Maybe gets 1 or 2. 3rd down for the Iowa Central Tritons.
Grant Walker on the carry for the Tritons.
Looks like Arthur still is going to be on the field to finish out this drive. Just 4 minutes to go here.
They'll bring in a dime package here now. Will Hutchinson on this obvious passing down.
They're going to be on their own 45-yard line, Iowa Central. 3rd and 13. Comes the snap. Maybe a little bit of jump there from the defensive line. No call. Moving around in the pocket, just going to throw this one away towards the Hutchinson sideline. And that's going to be incomplete, and that's going to bring up 4th down for Iowa Central. Looks like they might keep the offense on the field and go for it. Not completely sure. Nope, looks like they're going to bring out the punting unit here for Iowa Central and punt this one away.
You know, there's always something going on campus. You know, Coach Twait was talking about everything going on in the athletic program.
Yep.
Also, something that I know is going on campus as well over at the auditorium. Is it the Decker Auditorium, right?
Decker Auditorium, yep.
The musical adaptation of Catch Me If You Can is playing over there a couple of times today.
Yep.
I saw it last night, and I have to say it is awesome. And I'm not that kind of guy, and I thought it was great.
A little bit of a muffed punt there towards the sideline. It's going to bounce out around the 33-yard line.
That one off.
I have never seen the play of Catch Me If You Can, but I have seen the movie starring
It's basically the same thing.
Yeah. Leonardo DiCaprio, and it's a great movie. It's a great story.
It is like a musical. Young man from right here in Fort Dodge, Joey Kelly, 17-year-old or 18-year-old kid, senior at Fort Dodge Senior High, is the lead in that, and he is amazing. He was amazing last night. I saw that. Me and the girlfriend went, took that in last night, and had a tremendous job. And you would never know that there's so much talent, talent-rich area in terms of the performing arts here. But a great job by the cast of that deal.
So 3 minutes and 24 seconds left to go here. Hutchinson taking the ball off the punt. 1st down and 10. Nice carry up the middle. It's going to be good for maybe about 8 or 7 yards. 2nd down here.
Brought down by Romello Gray. Excuse me. Romello Gray did make that stop by that. Thank you. Nice play.
PA announcer, something else.
PA announcer here is
He's trying
interesting at times.
He's trying to have fun.
He is. He's doing the best he can, as are we. With 2:45 to play now in the ball game, 56-0 Hutchinson advantage.
It's going to be 2nd and 3 here for Hutchinson. QB option here. Running back's going to take it and get no gain on the play. That's going to bring up 3rd down. 2 minutes and 30 seconds left to go here.
Hutchinson going to keep it on the ground. They're going to salt it away and move on to 9-2 on the season with this victory here. And Iowa Central, of course, going to fall to 6-6. But Graphic Edge Bowl coming up on December 8th in Cedar Falls.
And, you know, that's a big-time bowl game for us, of course, winning the conference for the first time in a long time, gaining the premier game. Still don't know who we're going to be playing. It all depends on how this week turns out. And certain teams, you know, wanting certain bowls and certain bids. That's a nice run towards the left side, still fighting. He's going to get to about the 40-yard line. But
running back Jonathan White put his head down and just ran through his own guy. He trucked his own guy in that process, too.
And, you know, it depends on how, you know, which teams lose in week this week, you know, determining on. And, you know, it depends on, you know, travel, too, because some teams don't want to travel, don't want to prepare a month.
You want to get an opponent who's going to, you know, the fan base is going to travel, you know.
Yeah,
that's important, too.
There's all kinds of strategy looking forward to. Hopefully we will know Monday. By the time the sports show happens on the radio, I will talk to Coach Montalto, of course, that day and hope that we find out the opponent, and they'll have, you know, basically a month to prepare for one team and have a pretty nice break. But of course, they're gonna prepare as much as they can. They're gonna practice as hard as they can. Of course, they'll take quite a few rest days. Of course, freeing a month off, they'll take some rest days, of course. But you know, when 2 weeks comes around, though, they're probably gonna be practicing every day and get it well prepared, because they want to go away with a winning record this year. You know, they have potential to go away a 7-6 winning record and have the Graphic Edge Bowl title under their name.
You know, and they'll also use that kind of period, you know, for some of the players, the sophomores, to go and make official visits to other schools and see what's going to be a good fit for them at the 4-year level. And so there'll be several guys that'll do that, and they'll have some announcements, I'm sure, coming up in the coming month or two on that.
It's going to be 1st and 10 here for the Blue Dragons. They're just going to run the ball up the middle. Just going to get no gain on that play.
Right on the carry.
Hutchinson's just going to run this clock out right now and walk away with the victory here, 56-0. You know, Iowa Central, of course, this isn't how they wanted this game to go down, of course. But what do you think they need to take away from this game?
You know, for me, I don't think there's much of anything to take away from it. I think what you do is you try to put it behind you, you know, and you take some of the things that you didn't do well and you work on it, one being punt coverage on special teams. You know, I think you need to emphasize the special team stuff in the kicking game. So that's one big one, but there's not really a lot of positives here. You know, if I'm the coaches, I'm telling the guys in the locker room today, you know, basically let's all kind of take a break from each other from now until Monday, and let's, you know, sleep this one off. When this one goes to bed, you go to bed tonight, this one goes to bed too at that point. And on Monday you come back and kind of regroup in team meetings and such going forward. Not a lot you can take out of it positive, but you can take the film and kind of work on some of the things you need to clean up going into the bowl game.
And, you know, Arthur Brantley, of course, started this game. Hopefully DJ Irons will be back in time for the Graphic Edge Bowl. He should be back and healthy even by next week.
I would think so, too. And not only do I want him to be back, obviously it helps the team, but I want him to be back for him, because I think a healthy DJ is a DJ that will then be, you know, more desirable, you know, for other schools. And I think that does his stock good, you know, and will be a big part of that for DJ going forward. So we'll have to see kind of how that works out for him going forward in the year there, and see what the Iowa Central Tritons can do. Some other guys need to get healthy too between now and then. Rashad Whitty being one, and you know, Whitty's a guy that I think, Austin, that you know, is a guy that'll transfer out, and if he's healthy, I think a guy that can make it at the you know, the lower Division I level, the MAC schools, the Sun Belt.
Yeah, you know, it's actually an interesting story with Rashad Whitty, because he actually is not available to move up to the Division I level. Him being 4 years here at Iowa Central. He is able to
so
transfer
he had
to,
the clock started on him earlier somewhere else.
So he's able to transfer to, I think, some Division II schools. And compete there. But, yeah, definitely if he was, because he has been here 4 years. He was here 2 years. Didn't play football. He was struggling with some injuries. Third year came to Coach Montalto.
There you go. You go in the clock, and once the clock starts on you, you've got 5 years to play for. And so,
but definitely Rashad Woody, if he was, played the 1-2 years and could be able to transfer, he definitely
I didn't
would be
know that. That's a good caveat. But some Division II school, because of that, is going to get a really good football player when he gets healthy and gets right.
Yeah, I do hope. I'm not sure the significance of his injury, of his knee, or anything like that. I'm not sure if he is going to be healthy around the Graphic Edge Bowl time. I really hope he is, because he's a big playmaker and he's a big factor in Iowa Central's offense. And, of course, DJ Irons hoping being healthy. That's two big offensive weapons that we didn't have today that we need to look back on and say, hey, our offense wasn't totally healthy. We're going to get healthy, and we're going to compete as hard as we can at the Graphic Edge Bowl, whoever we go up against. And they're going to take the toughest team. They're going to take the highest-ranked team that's going to bid for the Graphic Edge Bowl. That's what Coach Montalto told me. And they're going to go out there and compete, and they're going to want to put on the best show that they can and come away with the victory.
Yeah, certainly. And, today, falling 56-0 to Hutchinson. Hutchinson, it was all Hutchinson all the time here today. Started out with an Aaron Collins 13-yard touchdown run. Mark Wright, the starting quarterback for Hutchinson, got in on the action, a 12-yard touchdown run for him. Then a 33-yard touchdown run for Tyon Evans. That was one of the 3 touchdown runs in the first half, the rushing touchdowns. They would get a passing touchdown in the second quarter, a 30-yard touchdown pass to Tyon Evans from Mark Wright. Then later, right before the halftime locker room visit there, Trey Petway with a touchdown catch on a pass from Mark Wright. Second half, punt return, 10 yards, punt return for a touchdown by Jonathan White. Trey Petway would get another touchdown run, or touchdown catch of 28 yards, this time from Kari Lane on the throw there. And then Stacy Marshall would make a touchdown catch as well from Kari Lane, the backup quarterback, 56-0. And, for the Tritons, you got to shake this one off, put it behind you. Go out tonight, don't think about football. Go do something else, and regroup yourself coming forward when you come back to team meetings and things.
They have a whole month to forget about this game and the way that they performed today. And they're going to have a lot of time to prepare for the Graphic Edge Bowl. Me personally, I'm looking so much forward to the Graphic Edge Bowl. It's going to be so exciting. You actually won't be joining us at the Graphic Edge Bowl.
Yeah, I won't be able to make it due to the distance and some other commitments with the Graphic Edge Bowl. I do appreciate, the invite and would certainly love to, but I have some other engagements, commitments that same weekend. So I won't be able to make it, but I do appreciate, everybody at Iowa Central for having me here. Working with you has been great. Rusty McNeil, the program coordinator for the broadcasting school here at Iowa Central, has been great to work with. Coach Kevin Twait, the athletic director as well. This all started for me when I got to town in July, and I sent Kevin Twait an email, and basically all I was looking for was basically a media credential so I could come over here and cover Iowa Central and put that in our sports coverage with the media company that I work for here in town. Well, that turned into Kevin Twait wanting me to come over here and meet with him, and I did, and that ended up turning into, hey, you want to come over here and work with some of the kids at the broadcasting program and do the games, the home games for football. And actually I do want to do that. So that's worked out really well, and I'm going to work with you guys for basketball as well, and I'm looking forward to that. And I just appreciate, being here. I really do enjoy it, and I really do enjoy working with a student-ran broadcast. And a big shout-out to you guys in that department, you, Austin, Joe Hanson, of course, the guys filming the game today, Eli and Dan Johnson.
Sam Comp.
Sam Comp and
Levi's son.
Anybody else that I'm not thinking about, I don't mean to forget.
we got a lot of students.
There's a lot of people. Kira's normally with us.
Kia
Kia.
Kia.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
Kia.
sorry. In the truck usually.
Yeah, we
as
love
well.
Kia.
And you know, I'm the old man. Me and Rusty are the old veterans of the whole bunch. And so,
A little bit.
I will attribute my lack of remembering people's names to old age at that. But it's been a great time. I've enjoyed it, even though today didn't go kind of the way we wanted to. This was we call this a broadcaster's nightmare when you get in a game where the kind of the home team that you're following is getting beaten really badly. But Austin Johansson, you did a pretty good job of managing that, and at some point that's going to happen in your career, and it happened today, and you're able to manage that. So,
I appreciate you, Rob, helping out with us on the commentary. It's been a great experience commentating with you, and this will be the last game that we will be commentating together here on the Triton Nation Network.
And you'll go on to graduate at the end of the year. So,
hopefully.
Hopefully. We still got a semester to get there, but you're on pace to graduate, and be going out, into the workplace, trying to land a job in the media realm there. And so, best of luck with that. I know you've got some possible prospective stuff on that, and that's great. So we'll see how that goes from going forward. So it's been a great experience throughout the course of the year for me. So I couldn't say anything else other than I just appreciate the opportunity. I've had a blast doing it.
Well, we appreciate you joining us. You've done a great job, and I've learned a lot commentating with you.
Well, I'm glad. That was the point for me. It wasn't for me to come over here and necessarily do the game because Lord knows I got enough on my plate as it is. This was an opportunity for me to come over and help kind of guide you guys. Not that I know everything, but I've been doing this long enough to know what not to do. I can tell you what not to do better than I can tell you what to do. And I think that was kind of an opportunity to do that, and that's something I enjoy. I very much want to give back to the business and give back to the next group of guys that are coming up, and that's guys like you guys and Dan Johnson. While guys like me, I'm kind of in the middle. I'm not the old school version like the guys who are going out to pasture here. I'm kind of in the middle, but I've seen that it really does matter that you get the next group of guys ready and do what you can to get them ready. So that's what I've been over here trying to do. So I appreciate you saying that, and it's been a fun season.
Yeah, well, we do appreciate you and working with you. 56-0 is going to be the final score. Hutchinson over Iowa Central. That's going to be it here from Dodger Stadium. I'm Austin Johansson alongside Rob Jones, signing off for the final time here for Dodger Stadium for the season. Next time you'll see us for football action, we'll be at the Graphic Edge Bowl, December 8th, I believe, going up against a future opponent that we are not aware of yet. But we will inform you, of course. I will inform you on the sports show. Monday night, 88 won the point, 7 to 8 o'clock. I'll make sure to get that news to you. 56-0 is the final score here. Thank you, everybody, for joining here on the Triton Nation Network.